Okay.
Jesus Christ, that was the wrong moment to unmute.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going on with my D&D either, because Connor and Mal are moving shit around, so I don't know what the hell's going on. As in, literally moving house. So,
Oh, right, yeah, I was thinking.
they're just there shoveling shit somewhere.
They could finally have...
to be fair, I love Mao, but if anyone was going to tell me that they'd got a job shoveling dung, and I would just believe them. Oh.
The thing is, Mao would do it like a smile on his face, and he'd come home every day with just the worst jokes about it.
I would unironically love to hear the type of socially awkward bullshit Mao gets up to at a dung shoveling gig. That seems like it'd be hilarious.
Both literal and figurative bullshit that he's getting up to.
God damn it.
Are we begin?
Yeah, let's do the thing. Let's have some reminders from last session. Nuke Creed's arms off. Creed wants to hide from that. Have the ratings stalk the Primarch through the vents to locate him, but position termies near likely exit points. I believe that was from Mackie. Mackie wants to stop Coatlmox interfering. Coatlmox?
Huh?
Coatlmox is to be apprehended via termi/mechanicum/console. Oh yeah, you put out like a full everything. Capture that guy. Creed is wearing vent armor. Oh yeah, this is your like vent adapted armor for moving around, right?
Yeah. I'm still not 100% what vent armor means, but it's my vent armor.
I love it.
I'm almost picturing it like carapace armor for a marine.
I was exactly seeing that as well, yeah.
Where it's like, it's the best protection you can get, but it also affords a ridiculous degree of mobility without being actual power armor.
That's actually terrifying if it's just lighter than power armor and more flexibility, and you're a space marine.
Well, because he wouldn't get the strength bonuses or like the armor buffs from it, but it would still
he's also not slowed down by the armor anymore. Does he get an edge bonus instead because he's not dealing with the armor?
Well, it's not got black carapace, does it?
Yeah, black carapace negates any heavy armor.
But that's only from the weight of the armor. That's not from the like squeezing it through tight spaces like this. I mean, it does make it move as a second skin, but it's still a clunky second skin. You become a lizard basically. Like your body is armored, but it does at least move like your body. But without that, you can. Yeah.
I guess there's also like the argument against torque and actual strength. So
I'm unfamiliar.
The being able to move the armor as a second skin, it's the torque that gives this. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Order consuls to actively pursue the APB. I think that's because Nazeem Kuzco had just received it, but he hadn't actually given the order yet. Stay in the Apothecarium making the trank gas. Tech crimes have occurred under Coayah's watch.
Huh.
He's in the plasma drive. I believe that's the Primarch. And Mackie wants to ask Drelora for the eye melt glue.
He'll grow them back. It'll be fun. Probably.
He goes to see the Emperor for the first time, and the Emperor's first question is, what happened to his eyes?
He was a very naughty boy.
Oh dear. So, how are we feeling? Anyone got a burning need to go first?
I feel like because there's a Primarch in the plasma drive and I have 2 squads there, I would like to, but I don't mind if someone else wants to. Nope. Okay then. I'm taking that as permission. Cool. Okay. Can I evacuate the plasma drive? I know we said just of people. Can the plasma drive not blow up or kill anyone or destroy us if it is left unmanned for maybe, I don't know, a few hours?
It shouldn't blow up. You will probably experience like outages throughout the ship. It can definitely operate by itself. Like it'll have the equivalent of. It's not as simple as an autopilot. It's probably more like a complex over-managing machine spirit of several composite machine spirits that give it some kind of autopilot. I think you'd have a job convincing the Magi in charge to actually go along with that.
In which case,
outside of an actual emergency, and as far as they're aware, it's just a large twist.
So I will Yeah, okay. I'll send out a general announcement in the plasma drive area, I suppose, and ask anyone who does not have a rebreather or some form of filtration, evacuate now.
For the record, the plasma drives are definitely cavernous enough as a series of rooms that you're not going to be able to gas them out.
Oh, okay.
Like, that is, other than the hangar, probably one of the largest, not open air, but like, imagine it more like the interior of several cathedrals. With giant machinery all over the place. Yeah, the volume required would be insane.
Okay, in which case, I am going to message Kuzco and ask if you can put it into flamer canisters or something that allows it to be, I guess, and deployed in a small area. Maybe it will knock him out just long enough, even if it does disperse super quick. It might do something. Probably won't.
So, fun fact, it's getting pumped straight into the life support systems. But yes, I can make some canisters.
Yeah, we knew it was going into the life support systems. It's sort of been
It's going to go for the entire ship.
Well, only the bits that are leaking, so...
A lot of it. Fine.
More than you'd like, less than you'd hope.
Less than we'd hope?
Oh, yeah, I suppose that's true. Sorry, more than you'd like, more than you'd hope. Less than you'd fear.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like the stuff is just getting made out in the open. Like, it's getting pumped into stuff, so it's easy enough to put that into canisters, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can get some canisters that we can sort of launch at him. Maybe combine that with the glue guns or something. I don't know. Cool. Okay, my Terminator teams are going to stay close, and they are going to stay frosty, and they're going to go into the direction of the screams.
Wasn't he... You were hearing intermittent screams from throughout the thing, but he was just sort of like popping out of the vents and then popping back in.
Oh.
Yes, I suppose, but I do have my ratings following his rough, a little ways back.
Well, you were going to order them into the vents, but I don't think...
Yeah, I'm ordering them into the vents to follow, so we know where he's going, but I'm going to order them to stay far back enough that they're more like tracking rather than... directly behind him, unless they have the balls or they want to.
I think that's very much a you hope scenario.
That should do it.
What was your Nicholas going to ask?
I was going to remind that I did do research into dealing with wild animals and how to calm them down and trap them, and it is don't back them into the corner, chase them, or be aggressive towards them. Just a reminder that I did find that out in character and say, by the way...
You did. If I recall everyone else's paraphrased response, it was more or less along the lines of shut up, nerd. And then they backed him into a corner and threw glue at him.
Yeah. That's what you meant to do. What a classic gang antic. The gang glued their primarch.
Nazeem sits in the library with a little tactical view of the ship, watching the little friend or foe tags indicating Terminator squads being shipped in through the hangar bays, rushing towards the plasma drive as a general alert is sounded and the area is slowly evacuated, or at least as many people as can be made to go or are willing to go on short notice.
I mean, because the thing is, he's not really responded massively well. Even if we haven't been violent. Like, he did take off Creed's arm. Maybe it was a gentle love tap, I don't know. But he did still take off his arm.
But it's a gentle love tap to him.
Sure.
But as we've established, he is possibly the most Chad of all the Primarchs, just from the fact he's been swimming for 40 years. Our Primarch has never skipped leg day.
Never skip leg, yeah.
Never skip leg life. Legs are love, legs are life.
Arguably, this high-profile chase is the most rest he's likely gotten recently.
Yeah, well, this is probably the longest he's ever gone without skin as well. So, I mean, probably, maybe. Okay, cool. I'm going to start going in the direction of the screams.
Okay.
Also, I'd point out he's our Primarch, and as we know that we get slightly seasick if we spend too long on a planet, he's probably quite pleased to not be on a planet anymore. We've only heightened his powers.
I imagine that, okay, yes, you definitely have only heightened his powers. He's not intensely seasick for the first time in his life. But also, this is his first time not being intensely seasick since he was a baby. he's probably incredibly disorientated. Imagine if you had no glasses your entire life, and then in your late 60s or whatever, someone put a pair on your face, and suddenly you could see the world in high definition again. Or for the first time, even. It would be overwhelming and confusing. Yeah, I would assume he's got one hell of a migraine.
So, in which case, I'm going to make that migraine worse.
Okay, so in order then, as I understand it, we have the working on making the trank liquid rather than airborne for canisters, if I understood what was being asked there correctly. We have the sending the ratings into the vents to try and track him, and we had trying to follow the screams in the plasma drive area to see if you can what's it called? Get a Terminator squad near him. Fortunately for you, industrial accidents are not uncommon in the plasma drive area, and mild amounts of extra screams don't really raise the bar for anyone feeling threatened, so the risk of stampede is minimal.
Matthew privately thinks that maybe we should try and have less serious workplace accidents, maybe some sort of initiative, like 0 days since horrible death.
They do have those, but they count it by the hour. They've found that it's better for morale if the number can at least occasionally go up.
Kuzco has a sudden shiver up his back, thinking he may be put out of a job.
Yes, Kuzco, in his capacity as consul, had all the safety railings removed in order to boost his popularity with the men by giving free medical care.
Oh, that's devious.
And on the subject, I kid. And on the subject, or just in case that accidentally becomes canon,
it may.
Subject of Kuzco. Let's see how your industrial work's going there, Kuzco. Then before we skip over to the termy stuff, I think that's going to be Medicae over intelligence. I'm going to call. It's quick work, but it shouldn't be too difficult, right? Like transforming it into some kind of usable, sprayable liquid.
I mean, ultimately, if it gets put in the proper canister, it can be compressed down from a gas into a liquid.
That's fair. Yeah, so we'll call it a +0. So you're doing a lot of it, and you're jurying this pretty quickly, but you've also... No, it's +10. You've got the facilities.
If it's +10, that's 4 degrees of success.
Hey, yeah, no. Fortunately, this is not your first time. This is not your first rodeo. And hauling the old gas to liquid equipment out of storage, you're able to rapidly turn the medical orderlies towards helping you process the stock of trank into a more readily sprayable form. Whether it'll actually work unless it's ingested is anyone's guess, but at the same time, you can only imagine what level of extreme tranquilization you'll get when you blast this into someone's eyeballs.
If they still have them.
Yeah, they have lack there. I don't know, are exposed optical nerves better or worse for drawing into the bloodstream? Find out tonight.
I mean, neither, because you don't have blood vessels in your nerves.
You got to remember, he is lacking skin. That does make it...
That's not how that works.
I mean, there's a lot of exposed blood vessels.
So, next up, the ratings. I think this is probably going to be a crew roll with a hidden modifier. Do you want to roll it, Ollie, or do you want to let young Nicholas roll it?
Can I use command and my fellowship to give them a boost?
Yeah, you can use a command roll on them first.
Yeah, okay. So just me to roll it myself?
Just command over fellowship is fine, and then we'll, if you succeed, they'll get a +10.
I do not make that, so I'm going to re-roll that.
You sure? You're only giving them a +10.
Oh, okay, I suppose if I am, yeah. So I thought the command roll might be more important. No worries, yeah.
Depending on context, but as part of trying to keep this relatively secret, it's clear that this is a big deal, but I don't know if you can play it up too much.
Yeah, just go for it without the +10.
Okay.
Nick, you can roll that if you want.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, crew roll. That is, I believe, 40 or under? 50 or under? Yeah, I'll call it 40 or under. Go on, you Nicholas.
Damn.
41. Tragic.
That +10 would have actually helped.
Nick, what the hell, man? Why you gotta do me like this?
Yeah, Nick.
I told you, don't back him to the corner and feed him some brains. But am I listened to? No. This is why we should feed him some brains.
No, we're backing him into a corner, pinning him down, and then feeding him brains, whether he likes it or not.
Those are all the things I told you not to do.
You're just getting this like constant low tier complaining over the command net from Nazeem in the library, who's just.
I've forgotten. I've forgotten to turn my comms off, and I'm just like angry muttering under my breath.
Just on the command wavelength.
Yeah, just the command crew, just
Everyone
mumbling angrily.
Mumbly shit talking. Mac's hard work.
Grand Captain Nazeem, you can make your complaints when you're in the plasma drive with me.
He's the chief psychologist, actually. Wait, is this thing up?
Just stops as I turn it off.
Brother Nazeem, I have some extra trank if you would like to huff it and calm down.
I privately message you, and I go like, "Have you got any like catatonic patients or anything? Do you have some spare brains lying around?"
No, brother, we've been through this. You don't get patient brains until after they're dead.
Wait, it's not for me. It's for the Primarch.
You can't see this, but I'm narrowing my eyes.
So he can learn to talk quickly, so we can at least negotiate with him rather than a wild animal. And all my brains are useless. I can't use them.
Yeah, first something we don't know.
As the chief apothecary, Kuzco, you'd be more than well aware that whilst it is possible for the Primarch to learn from eating brains in that fashion, he would need to in some way want to communicate for him to get that knowledge, and also want to eat brains.
Well, we have graviton cannons. We're going to play Here Comes the Obsidian Heart.
Open wide now!
Exactly. We're going to treat him like we've treated most of the planets we've landed on. Not well.
So, you send perhaps a dozen crack squads of ratings into the vents in the plasma drives.
Do they just end up cracking? We just hear cracking noises. So what happens?
Slightly worse, actually.
Oh, no, crunches.
One by one, contact just wings out. They're there, then they're gone, and no amount of frequent raising on the Vox can get them to reply.
Unfortunate. Well, I guess via the friend and foe thing, I would know where they were when they cut out, would I?
I don't think you have that for ratings, you put it for Marines. You'd know where they were roughly sent and where they last checked in.
Okay, so if I know roughly where they checked in before they died, I roughly know where the Primarch is in an area.
Oh, you can like draw a vague guess, but from the like pathing that's happening, he's ping-ponging through those vents. Like, if you didn't know better, it seems like he must be wriggling through the actual air vents, not just the like corridors between the walls that the Obsidian Heart seems riddled with.
I am so angry with these vents. First thing that'll happen when I become Lord Commander of the entire thing, sealing all vents. We have no vents.
No, let's be reasonable.
Right.
No.
To carry oxygen tanks around.
Yeah.
Become a rebreather only ship.
As soon as we get our goddamn Gloriana, I'm just leaving this ship for someone else.
Oh, gimme.
But it's done!
Cool, okay. Do we ever see him pop out? I just want to, I guess, keep exploring the inside of the plasma drive whilst my team's on the outside. Here can just sort of keep an eye out, essentially.
One by one, your teams begin to fan out through the plasma drive area.
And we are keeping, so we're not being able to be easily picked off.
No, yeah, this is Space Hulk drill is what you've got them put off in. Overlapping fields of fire, everyone keeps an eye on everyone else. You're effectively hunting him in the same way you would hunt a gene stealer patriarch.
At this point, what's the difference? Naked.
You are finding that the drills are remarkably applicable.
Right.
The first sign you have of your Primarch is when a good deal of the lighting goes out in one section of the cathedral-esque hallways of the plasma drive. leaving only the dull orange glow of a vast baking plasma reactor. And then another section of lighting.
Clever girl.
Reports begin echoing in from across the ship. You can hear them across your top-level Vox. The power is starting to fail in erratic areas.
Do you remember that I asked for the ship that was docked up here to supply us power? So we should actually still have power coming into the ship.
Yeah, they're going to have time to... It's going to take time to hook that up.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
They're working on it.
Okay.
But also, they're like... They're not just dumping all of their power into your circuits. Then you'd have too much power and your electrics would explode.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So
Or do we?
No, we don't.
Or do we?
Hilarious as it would be to detonate your ship by overloading the entire electrical grid at the same time.
Mackie just floating off into the distance. I never said I was an electrician. He burns up in the planet's atmosphere.
What's everyone else doing as Mackie hunts your Primarch?
I think I said I was going after him with a thunder hammer.
I thought you were going off to Kuzco or something like that to talk to your secret police or something.
Yeah, you were going to go try and organise the manhunt for Coatlmox, I believe, at last check. You went after him with a thunder hammer and then lost him. Because he was naked man wriggling his way through the vents.
On that note, I have some precautions I'd like to take.
I was going to set up the APB and the hunt for Coatlmox, but then I was going to go after the Primarch with my thunder hammer.
It's
okay, it's okay.
Well, what are the precautions you want to take then, Coatlmox? If we're doing the APB thing, and then we'll skip back to Benji.
I want to message my cultists and any super loyal spies I had in the secret police and just tell them to start filing fake reports of seeing me all over the ship.
Are you giving your cultists any context for this?
No.
Okay, cool. So you're kind of expecting them to get probably caught. Cool. I mean, I'd like to make you roll for it, but I feel like with the setup that was done with you infiltrating the secret police and your cult network, that's just kind of a fire and forget. Where are you heading off to? That's a more dangerous task.
I want to try and get to one of my little vent mini Ford Trine bases I've set up to hide out for a while, observe whatever orders Seb picks up, and if I can along the way find a data slate that contains some High Gothic lessons for the future.
I mean, lessons on High Gothic, you might need to visit the library.
Okay, this is purely out of character and interrupting slightly, but Chris made me remember, we've got an open Vox intercom system, right? Can we just start playing a basic equivalent of Dora the Explorer for High Gothic?
I like this idea.
I'll just stick on an audio book of High Gothic lists.
Yeah.
I can't think of any reason why you couldn't.
Although, how does an all-audio language lesson
Hello,
work?
this is Vanicus Free, and welcome to the 31st Millennium's Guide to Speaking High Gothic.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't understand a single word of what's said.
But how does it give context, though?
It doesn't
Very
soothing
good
tones.
question.
No, he's safe.
I mean, presumably there are screens everywhere. You probably could ask the Magi or the head one to start using the screens in various areas to put a video on if there is an applicable one.
He's not stopping to watch pig feeds.
I mean, yeah.
He might eventually pick it up. I don't think it's an
I
awful.
suppose it would be weird for him.
Super heightened senses, with the ability to learn quickly. In his peripheral, he can see images, and he sees it continuously.
Okay, you know what? I will revise my statement then. He's not stopping to watch pig feeds. He's currently under attack by multiple squads of Terminators.
If only we hadn't penned him into a corner.
God fucking damn it. If you actually bring that up at the council, I will point out the flaw in the logic of what the fuck were we supposed to do. He's loose on a goddamn ship. We can't just let him go.
I don't know. Listen to the psychiatrist, for God's sakes.
Let him pucker himself out, he'll fall asleep, and then we can just gently put some handcuffs on him. It'll be
You
fine.
saw this man, didn't you? I don't think handcuffs or sleep come into his peripheral.
I think you're right. As we canonised last time, he actually only sleeps in the bellies of leviathans. So,
We are the Legion who will have the battle cry that our Primarch is the Ultra Chad.
Oh, how is the collection? You know what? Not my turn, so anyway.
So, Coatlmox is going to try and find his way to one of his assorted minor secret forge shrines. I think that's probably... You're moving through the vents. I will take agility over silent move, please.
Why are we hunting Coatlmox again?
Because I tried to be friendly to the Primarch.
You had the Primarch pinned and you gave him an escape.
Yeah, exactly. Building trust.
Tomato.
Fortune. Perfect there.
Hundo.
Just ticked up by 1. Well, that'll make it 2 degrees of failure.
2 degrees of failure. Okay. You are moving towards one of your preferred minor forge shrines. You don't really have that many. You call them forge shrines, but if anything, they're more like cubby holes with some basic tools in relatively secure locations. This one is located quite close to the anterior Gellerfield generator. Unfortunately, along the way, you happen across a squad of secret police. Did they have a name, Benji? I forget.
I can't remember if I gave him a name. It was something beginning with I, but I can't remember what it was. Invigilators or something like that?
Right, so the Invigilators then turn towards you, hands barely trembling, raise their autoguns.
Are these humans?
They are humans.
Okay.
You are under arrest by order of the Legion Master. We must ask that you kindly lower your remaining arms and come with us. There's about 4 or 5 of them.
Can't we just not and say you did? I promise you, I will resolve all this amicably in the future. This encounter will never even be remembered.
30 years' time, we have the Great Betrayal as a turning point in our chapter's history.
I will take Charm over Fellowship.
So I'm guessing this is like one of those horror movie situations where they haven't radioed it in.
They haven't quite yet. That looks like 2 doff.
Yep.
I was about to say, shouldn't this also be a malice because they are working directly under me and they know exactly what I do to people who annoy me?
It would
Some
usually
might
be
have worked for me.
The ship is generally called the Price of Defiance. However, yes, they've also worked under Coatlmox, and they know exactly what he does to people as well. So the intimidations are kind of cancelling themselves out.
I feel like the only person in the command crew who hasn't got a reputation for doing things to people is me.
No, people don't think Kuzco does things to people.
I don't do
Not
he
anymore,
does
at least.
He does them silently.
Actually, that's also very true. Nazeem does things to people, but in secret, so no one thinks Nazeem does anything either.
In fact, everyone who's gone to therapy with me has had a very good experience.
Apart from those parts that you wiped from their memory.
Yeah, noted,
Or the
They don't
people you
remember
kick-
those bits.
noted bastion of mental health, Nazeem.
Eat the mines that will make you healthy.
So,
Really
on
does
2 doff, the squad leader shakily raises his gun slightly further. We serve under Legion Master Coayah, and you are under arrest. Please kneel whilst we break out the extra-large manacles.
Move it or lose it, humans, and I'll just sprint through them.
They attempt to open fire.
Sure.
What's your soak without your armor?
Let's see. Toughness bonus of 5, and I have bionic parts on most of my body, and flesh is weak 1, which gives me an extra 1.
Okay, so that's like 6,
So
7.
potentially 7.
And then
some
you do have
pieces.
the carapace armor. That's usually about soak 4, isn't it? So 11.
I mean, is it full carapace or like partial? Like,
I'd say we're at least full carapace. Yeah, cool. Give me a dodge roll. I'm going to call it a +10.
How many off is that? Hatch. 3.
3, okay. That's D10 plus 3. So you're barreling right at them. It's a fairly narrow corridor. They can't easily miss. I'm going to give them a bunch of quick shots, and we'll see what they get in terms of like actual hits.
Roll a
actual
hundo.
damage. Well, it's 1d10 plus 3 for an altogether.
Yeah, they can still. Marines can still take damage from autoguns. It's just very difficult.
You know what? That's fair. I will. What do we say? There were 5 of them, right? So I will roll there to hits, and we'll see how many hits they get on semi-auto. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3 of them jam their guns.
And autoguns have reliable.
Do they?
I think they do.
Bolters? I'm pretty sure they're reliable.
No,
las guns
autoguns.
do.
That might be it. Yeah.
Hold a sec. Let's break out the rulebook because we're all just kind of.
No, I think Creed's right. I think it's las guns have reliable.
I also think Krieg's right, but I want to check. Creed.
I mean, with these things, like it's usually a fair call.
Yeah. Autogun. Cool. So on semi-auto, they get up to 3 shots. Yeah, they don't have reliable. It is las guns. Cool. So sorry, it's not 3 jams. It's 2 jams. A miss, 1 single hit, and 1. I think that's all 3 hits. So that's a net of 4 hits. So that's. Let me just double check carapace because that's either all soaked or.
Like 1 damage?
It could be 2 damage, you don't know. Oh, power armor is AP6. It's 0 damage. Yeah, no, such bullets as hit you ping off metal or other metal or your carapace or impact where your missing arm would be, or just dig into your flesh and hit against the subdermal armor in your black carapace, or your layers of bone, or you essentially tank the numerous bullets. It still hurts, but you're easily able to fight through it and just smash through them. They go flying like fleshy bowling pins, and you barrel off. You can hear them panically voxing in your wake.
Just another one of the many reports going in, I'm sure.
I feel sorry for these guys. Like, so deeply sorry for them.
Meanwhile, Coayah, you've got your thunderhammer. You're already starting to get reports in from across the ship that have spotted Coatlmox. What are we doing? Where are we going? You were going to chase after the primarch. How are we doing it?
I've got my artificer armor.
Yep.
I've got my thunderhammer.
Yep.
Can I? I suppose I can't get this knockout gas in grenade form, can I?
Funnily enough, it's actually at about this moment as you're pondering that, you can hear it being ordered. Mackie's requesting that Kuzco ships the trank gas in a liquid form, something that can be sprayed. You could I guess you could get it in grenade form. Yeah, it's just a matter of cramming it into a canister. It's questionable to what degree either of these things will be effective, but what are we doing?
You were saying, sorry? You said it's at this point.
Oh, did I cut out?
No, you said at this point, and then you went off about Mackie doing something, as if it was like relevant.
Yeah, no, I heard. Mate.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I felt like that connected.
Sorry. Okay, cool. Yeah, screw it. I can't get those. Can I get some psychotrochs?
Oh no, he was saying you can get those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to take me time to get them.
That is true. It will. They'll need to be like produced and squeezed out.
Can I grab some psychotrochs?
Psychotropics. Do we have those? I guess we'd have those.
We don't have psych out grenades or anything like that, though, do we?
That would be meta.
That would be meta.
Well, as in, like, we don't, I guess, because we haven't still officially.
We do have a supply. All legions have a supply of psych outs, but
I feel like we can assume they would. I don't think there's anything that says they definitely do. It's not going
we had
crazy.
like 4 or something in one of the campaigns previously.
And yeah, like, absolutely psykers are known to be a thing. They're just considered explainable by natural phenomena.
yeah, but it's one of the ones of I think it's legions probably have a very small supply because like you might run into psykers out there. You will need to be able to kill them.
Yeah, Nick.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
It's the same reason we got graviton and haywire weapons in case we run into like tech horrors.
Do you think
We want to dump on.
do you
We
think
just don't have a huge amount of them.
on the sign outside Nazeem's office that says psychiatrist, it just says psyker, and then afterwards iatrist is written in pen on the wall next to it.
Probably. Probably. Yes,
Cool. Yeah,
psych
you
outs
can-
will be metagaming, so I'm not going to be bringing them.
Psychotropics, let's have a look in the book. Do we have these? Where
Yeah,
are the rules?
You get them in Dark Heresy.
Whoa, now rules. What are those?
We don't need those things here. We can just use grenade rules.
They're
These are
literally
literally
grenades!
grenades! So, God damn it.
I think
It
that's.
just does this to me.
Oh. Never
you
stop,
can
never
apply-
stopping.
You can apply just standard grenade rules to these as well, right? Just it's all the same.
What book are they in, Benji? So I'm trying to remember what the special thing is.
Psychotropics are enemy within. They're the one from where they talk about the Order Hereticus.
Cool.
They're the ones with is it sanctified shit in them, or is it?
No, those are white fire grenades, I believe. Those haven't been invented yet.
Oh.
It'd be
Well, they
sanctified,
kind of
it must
have,
be
but they're
holy.
not sanctified. They're just white phosphorus grenades at the moment. I don't want to kill him. I just need to slow him down a bit. Or like
Honestly, I
beat him
think
unconscious
white
with a
phosphorus-
thunder hammer.
White phosphorus and a thunderhammer should slow him. I hope.
White
I
phosphorus
don't have
presumably
much
would
hope.
kill him. Like, I don't know his limit.
Push it to the limit. Limit!
In any case, we probably don't have white fires.
Okay, so it's
They're not really
it's a hallucinogen grenade. So you're gonna get okay, cool. See how that goes.
Oh, no!
What are you
have
gonna
a
do?
better idea.
He's the Legion Master. Who can countermand him? Only the man he's trying to hit with the grenades. I guess you could have an emergency vote of no confidence, but
What do you mean by a better idea as well? What is this idea? Are you just throwing hallucinogen grenades in?
He's going to get him tripped out on hallucinogens, and then I'm going to beat him into unconsciousness with a thunder hammer.
He's going to do the Iron Man Hulkbuster. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Basically, yeah.
Like, isn't one of the potential effects of the grenade, though, is to send him into a berserker rage?
Yes.
Yes.
He's already roaming around the ship killing people.
He's not
different
in a
though.
berserker rage.
Is it
Yeah.
like tearing your leg off or something?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
other
he
one.
could hurt himself.
He gets like worms in his arms, I think, or worms. In his leg.
And like out of anyone that could actually hurt him, he is probably someone who could hurt him.
Very astute.
Fine,
Yeah.
I'll just beat him unconscious with a thunder hammer. Is that what you want?
Yes.
prefer
What
it.
we're
there
doing-
is
better.
there is only a 1 in 10 chance of him going into a berserker rage.
Those sound like terrible odds to me.
Is it also a 1 in 10 that he hurts himself?
No, that's higher than 1 in 10. That's arguably like 2 or 3 in 10, depending.
That's like a 30 to 40% chance that he does something we don't want him to do.
There is,
He's
to be
already-
fair, there is also a 1 in
do-
10 chance that he completely loses his ability to hide, for the record.
Oh, I like those odds. Let's do it.
Oh yay, he can't hide. All he can do is charge at her.
No,
He's already doing that!
Okay, so one of the results is nobody can see me. In which case he would be extremely easy to round up. You just need to look like you can't see him, which is not that hard.
That's going to be so terrifying, though, for the poor Terminator who's not allowed to look at the killing machine, which is just walking up to him now, and he can't pretend he's not seeing
Look,
his imminent
all
death.
the Terminators have been to the gym with Carl. They know gym etiquette. When the Mega Chad walks past, you avert your eyes.
So, What are we doing, Legion Master?
Screw the psychotropics. Let's just do this old school.
You consider putting the call out, but you remember what happened with the gas last time, and you think, maybe it's not worth testing. And you rush off, presumably towards the plasma drives. Moving past cordon after cordon, you can see that Mackie's bringing Astartes in from the rest of the fleet. He's also directing people away. Ooh, sorry.
So our guy naked is bigger than a Terminator, right?
Yes.
So,
or at least taller.
That presumably means Coayah can walk through at least some of the bigger vents in his Terminator armor, so he could come.
I'm not in Terminator armor.
Well, one, yeah, he's not in Terminator armor, but two, as I said, at least taller. Taller doesn't so. Remember, tall, but also he's naked, so he's wirier. Terminator armor is unyielding metal and quite chonky. A Terminator's fist is still larger than his fist. A Terminator's arm is still thicker than his arm. A Terminator's giant square back is still way more awkward than his wiry, maneuverable, swimming Primarch's back.
Yeah, I kind of imagine them as like giant metal fantasy dwarves. Like that build, you know?
They do have the stocky, head is located down in the middle of the armor because of how big the giant nuclear fusion pack is.
Yeah, chonky boys. But in any case, I'm in artificer armor, so I'm svelte and lithe.
Distinctly more mobile. It's not quite the same as the Vent Carapace armor, but it's no slouch.
It offers significantly better protection.
It do. But it does still have a power pack. He barged through several cordons, arriving in the plasma drive. This vast cathedral-like chamber and its associated subchambers hums and throbs with activity. The scorching heat of the drives illuminating vast sections by itself as the lighting has in many areas gone out. Key personnel continue to slave with their extremely reduced crews away, keeping the drives as stable as they can.
Do I see Coayah approaching?
Can't think that you would. It's a very big area. And you took your squads in and has been actively trying to hunt down the Primarchs and be in the vents. I don't think you just stood near the entrance.
Okay, no worries. Just because I'd have... do I know that Coayah's next to me? Not me, but do I know he's in the...
Only if he tells you, basically, I would say.
I don't think I'm hiding it.
There. Yeah.
Okay. So, presuming I do know then, I suggest that I will... my teams shall pin him, and you hit him over the head.
Well, I mean... the Thunderhammer is there so I can beat him under unconsciousness if I am alone. If we have the Terminators, we will probably just go for Plan A again. Eventually there will be a critical mass of Terminators that he cannot lift.
Oh, we're not going with Plan A. We are pinning him with graviton cannons. That is what's happening. That seems like an incredibly foolhardy thing to do. And covering him with glue and Terminators wasn't.
Well, and charging him with a Thunderhammer. We'll strike that from the list just yet.
I know, Benji. I have a great deal of confidence in several of your recent plans.
It's one of those things that I don't think we should be firing weapons that have a well-known haywire effect inside the plasma drives of a starship.
Do it.
Haywire. It's fine. Don't worry.
Do it.
I have haywire. It's all good. I only have blast 5.
Do it.
They should have haywire. They're specifically haywire weapons. They cause a haywire effect on machinery because of the gravitational effects.
It's not mentioned in the book as far as I remember. I can take a look, but I don't think it is. It's just mentioned that
they're not grav-cannons, right? They're graviton cannons.
Graviton cannon, yes.
Right.
Deathwatch predates the distinction.
Yeah. But yeah, those things have haywire effects because of their effect on machinery. Firing them inside the plasma drives is a bad idea. Those things rip Spartans apart.
I'm not going to go so far as to say, they count as haywires when we've not... I think we've had this discussion once before and ruled that we weren't going to give them the haywire effect, if I recall correctly, way back in Campaign 1, something like that. That said, even without the haywire effect, he's not wrong that massive localized alterations of gravity probably aren't great around sophisticated machinery filled with boiling hot plasma.
Well, probably not. No, probably
Boiling
terrible.
hot is always.
Star temperature plasma.
I mean, if it's a fusion reactor, then
They do not burn cold. They burn hot as all hell.
They burn good Welsh coal.
Absolutely,
That's what they burn.
And absolutely can explode. Their magic science reactors don't apply modern physics onto them.
Okay, fine. Any chance I see our father Primarch?
He's not really come out of the vents much since you entered the room. Last time he did that with large Terminators around, it didn't go so well for him.
Start taunting him. I don't know. Start, whistling and being like, come out, wherever you are. I don't know if it will work, but I hope he gets from the tone. I mean, I suppose he probably doesn't have much of a concept of that. But, give it a go.
Sure. Roll me Intimidate, and if you get 10 or under, it'll do something.
Intimidate, and what's that? Rolls of strength, right?
Yeah.
Does Terminator armor count? The plus 30 count?
I'm calling it 10 or under on this roll because he's not intimidated. It's to see if you can communicate it via tone of voice.
14.
When he doesn't understand tone.
You see a rustling in a nearby vent. Almost immediately, grav weaponry is on the vent, wrenching it free. All that falls out is the mutilated carcass of a rating, stabbed up. Then something slightly disturbing happens. A las shot pings off of your armor, Mackie.
Clever girl.
I didn't teach him that one.
You note that the rating does not seem to have a gun.
Rating have my armor won't fit. That's fine.
I learned it by watching. Yeah.
At least he's using good lasers. Okay. I shout back, is that all you've got?
The las gun opens up on full auto.
Makes me think of
the vent.
oh shit, dog soldiers. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
That was going to be my next line, yeah.
Never seen the film.
Isn't that
neither have I.
precisely before he gets ripped apart by a werewolf?
Yep.
Maybe tempting fate.
It's apt. Okay, I'm going to start ordering my squad to, I guess, wrench away as much metal as possible, and we are just going to just pour as much graviton cannon fire into that vent as we can. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I belay that order. Presumably, this las gun can never do enough damage to even breach my shields, or if it does, might hurt me in any way, shape, or form.
A single las gun would really... Are you in full Termi armor?
I'm in full Termi armor, yeah.
If you're in full Termi armor, he's currently using a las gun. It would really need to fluke, or he'd really need to plink away for quite a while to do much. Yeah, no, you're fine.
Oh, okay, I just wait, and then I say, is that all you've got?
Bro.
I'd like to make
Brother
a big warning.
Macuiltotec, I still have the line open here, and it's not all he's got. That man was throwing Terminators into the ceiling earlier.
Yeah, I was one of them. Wow, I threw several walls, but, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones if I can just shoot him in the head a little bit.
The shots fall dead.
Presumably,
Silence
there's a dark vent. We have night vision. Can we see in?
Yeah, you've got a fair amount of night vision. He's, as far as you can see, there's nothing in there. He must be making shots from quite a ways away. A brief, awkward minute passes as you wait to see if he fires again, and then a nearby Terminator, perhaps 200-300 meters away, reports shots from a vent. At least 2 assailants.
That's interesting.
Firing with close coordination.
Okay, yeah, I ordered them to, all 20 of them, rip that wall apart.
Aren't they spread out in squads?
Every squad is 20, I think.
Oh, Christ, yeah, they were the massive squad. No, yep, carry on. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely... I remembered you bringing extra Space Marines onto the ship. I forgot you were just turning your massive amounts of Terminators loose against your Primarch.
It's every X represents at least 20 termies, all with graviton cannons.
Well, I think the X's outside were regular Space Marines, right? And then you've brought
No, every single.
They were like 200 termies into the. Well, yeah. Then you've only got 2 squads in the drive room, mate.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I've got 2 squads of 20 in the drive room. Every X represents 20. I had to get a couple off the other ship that's currently docked to our docking spires.
I thought you were saying that you were bringing them in one by one.
No. These are every X marks a squad of 20.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I remember that. But so, right, I see. Sorry. So when you said you were bringing them into the drive room and you only brought 1 X in, that was. No, I thought you were just being lazy, not that you weren't. So you've only got 2. So you've got like no coverage of the drive room then.
No, I've got 2 X's currently in the drive room.
Yeah, you have 2 squads in an area the size of multiple cathedrals, even quite spread out. Those squads have bugger all coverage.
Sure, but they still got attacked, so
yeah.
So they can hit back up.
Okay, so it's the other squad that's being attacked. Then it must have been then.
Yeah. Presumably, that's what I assumed, yeah.
Cool, let me do some movings about on the thing.
I'm keeping the other squads where they are because, I want to make sure if he does escape or pop out of any vents that we have
Coayah. You're near the entrance to the plasma drives. When you see the rapid fire blast of at least 2 lasguns start staccato pinging out of a vent shaft. Moments later, the order comes in from Mackie over the Vox. Turn the gravitons on the vent. Archaeotech doom is unleashed. The vent pulled bodily from the wall. In the spray of metal and wiring comes the tumbling body of your primarch, for a moment wrong-footed, and then righting himself mid-air, your vision slowing to a crawl as you laser focus in on his body. He's wielding, or at least has perhaps a dozen or so knives jury-rigged up to his arms, strapped in belts. He's got a lasgun in either hand that he's wielding almost like a pistol. And around his neck, a necklace of heads.
Damn it, Cread. What are you thinking?
I'm sorry.
None of that.
All I got was an armrest of heads.
This is what...
Sorry, I would like to press the record button on my helmet cam and entitle file for Wesleyan to show him I was right.
Most curious of all, he has what looks like a ration bar's crumbs smashed into his upper lip.
Aww, he got something, right?
Told you he was hungry. Giving him brains.
I mean, obviously he's wearing, the brain containers around his neck.
Well, has he eaten the brains, though? That's the question.
Well, he's learned what guns are, so potentially.
He's seen a lot of guns, though, right?
You have used a fair amount of guns on him at this point.
The
wreckage comes... Sorry?
I was going to say, if anything, this supports the plan of just playing High Gothic lessons on every monitor and speaker in the ship until he can talk.
Yeah. Just leave him alone.
The wreckage comes crashing down and your Primarch with it. Grav guns start gripping him. Beams crossing. Gravity wrenching this way and that. You see his muscles sliding under his skin.
So he's got roughly 20 beams on him right now.
He does not have 20 beams on him right now. You had a squad of 20 people throw their beams at the wall he was standing in. Not everyone has immediately reacquired the target. He's in a massive haze of debris. He has some on him.
I'll rephrase. He'll eventually have in the region of 20 on him.
No, this is where you blink and he's just disappeared. Someone starts screaming in the distance.
You blink and he's bodily tackling the nearest Terminator.
Well,
Coayah, what do?
Even if one beam...
Is he currently trying to beat down the Terminator?
He's currently trying and close
Did
to
one
moderately
beam-
succeeding to rip apart the Terminator.
Did that beam hit him? Did any of the beams hit him whilst he was midair? Because he doesn't have the inertia, I would have thought, to overcome a graviton beam, no matter how. He'd need to be weighing incredible amounts.
You had 20 Terminators fire at the wall he was in and bring it down.
Yeah.
So they wrenched it forwards, and in the spray of debris, he came out surprised, and he's immediately launched into attacking the Termies around him.
Sure.
Also, you've got to remember, Ollie, he is Ultra Chad.
You can't... So I see what you're saying, Ollie. It is not as simple to disable a Primarch as pointing a load of graviton beams at him, and that automatically wins.
No, I'm not saying it automatically wins. No, it's just that you said a few beams hit him, right? And even and what that would do is it's a pushing beam, right? It throws you back. So
It would. The problem is that the only other Giga Chad Primarch, like super mega strong Primarch we have recorded stuff for, is Ferrous Manus, who used to regularly punch through Titan.
Backing up. It pushes away? I thought it was push or pull. That's why I've been having them on pull.
Well, you can do broad beam, and you can do, and it's either you get thrown or you get pinned. Yeah.
It doesn't do either. It tries variable gravity beams that fuck with gravity and mess you up like that. It doesn't pull or push. It's not a tractor beam.
That's literally the rule it has: focus beam and broad beam.
To be fair to Ollie, if that's what's it like, the canon has moved on since like whenever this came out, 2014, 2015. It's fine. We'll let Ollie.
Not a tractor.
We've let Ollie run them as tractor beams. We're not going to change them on him midstream. That said, in that case, you can't use them to blast him out of the wall because they'll blast him further into the walls.
Well, I was a little confused when the vents came forward because I was hoping like it would just one or two.
Oh,
or three.
Okay, sorry. I'm incredibly confused on what your plan was. Then it sounds like you can't ever get him out of the walls.
No, it's more that if we knew where he was, I was thinking just pin him down. We might just have a stray couple of beams hit him if we pushed all our beams into that vent at once, and maybe one or two would actually hit him and push him back and pin him.
You just smash him backwards into the rubbish.
Into the ceiling or the wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Into the vent wall or whatever, yeah.
I don't think you can catch him the way you've been hoping to catch him then, because all you're going to do is smash him deeper into the vents.
Well, what I was hoping was he would come out, and then he would be in, the plasma drive area, and then we could pin him that way against the wall or something. Assuming we found a strong enough wall to contain.
By a show of hands, do we want to... By a show of aye in favour or nay against, do we want to continue with the he's been pulled out of the wall timeline, or reset to he's been thrown further into the wall timeline?
I'm ambivalent.
Aye or nay in the Discord. Or like a ... if you're ambivalent.
It does neither. I'm reading the fucking rules. It just pins.
What's aye and what's nay? Sorry.
So aye for continue with the current timeline, nay for go with the other one, for reset. Where's the grav rules that you're reading, Benji?
Page 137 of the Deathwatch Rites of Battle book.
I don't think I've ever played them as though they've been tractor beams, though, have I? I've always done they destroy things. They destroy masonry by just, pulverizing it with gravity waves and such.
Yeah, that's what
I
they
always
do.
assume they just make whatever they hit very heavy very quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually played them as tractor beams. I can't. I might have. I just can't think of a time I have.
I always picture them as like mini black hole things, but not quite as strong as black holes.
I've always just
No, those D-cannons.
You point the beam at the thing and it pushes it back until it's pinned, essentially.
I've been imagining them as the Wub Wub gun from Saints Row.
Yeah, they're the Wub Wub gun.
I love the Wub Wub gun.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's all eyes, we can just say fluke. Cool. He just so happened that the beams pushed in the vent, and that caused him to trip.
Yep. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. To explain why the Primarchs come out of the vents, as we've only got one eye and 40% voter turnout. 20 beams do hit him at the same time, or would in the wall. 20 graviton beams overlapping is the very definition of why you shouldn't cross the streams. Gravity just explodes for a brief moment. There is a minor and yet somehow colossal detonation in that section of the plasma drive as a nearby drive goes up in a shower of molten plasma. Shields flare and activate. Mechanicum from the rest of the plasma drives screech and hit the emergency buttons.
I'm screeching as well, even if I don't know why.
Oh yeah, the ship's machine spirit. This is they're not having a good time. It's not like everything's fucked. A minor drive exploding is not ideal. It is copable, but it's not great.
Or it doesn't feel too good when gravity's been, exploded inside you somewhere. Probably like really bad indigestion, I would have thought.
And
No, it's like
I mean, I hate to say it, but that's not necessarily wrong.
Right?
So the Primarch hits a Terminator and more or less keeps on going, pulling the Mackie again, using them as a ram and charging directly across the wall, directly across the floor, and into a nearby wall, and through a nearby wall.
Can my termies turn around fast enough to just put, maybe not 20 beams on him this time, 4?
There is a
say.
plasma drive exploding over them.
Cool. Okay, I guess the guy is... the squad will go after him if they can.
Okay, he is last seen. Oh, that is now disappearing into the rating quarters.
Oh dear.
Pinged on the map.
Well, the squads will go after him if he's making a hole big enough for them to follow through.
Oh, he absolutely is. If nothing else, it's at least one Terminator-sized. Coayah, what are we doing on your end?
I was hoping he'd stay out and try and brutalise a few more Terminators.
Yeah,
Looks like we're going to have to go into the vents after him.
Well, it seems like he's kind of just going, I'm guessing, this way right now.
Yeah, it's more or less a straight line. He's got a lot of pushing power, but not much turning power.
And it was like a pig covered in mud.
Oh, that's the worst noise ever.
Beautiful.
It's the best I can get for a squealing pig.
So, it sounded like the Termies are following, Coayah's
Mhm.
following.
And also
Sorry?
We've got another squad, here, sort of pretty much ready and waiting. I mean, I know that's probably a couple of 100 meters away, or 100 or so meters away, but still.
You can order them up the lift plat if you want to.
Yeah, they'll get prepared, I think.
Wait, so are they staying where they are, or are they going up?
I mean, they'll go up. They'll go up to meet the rough level he's coming in at, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you can move them on the thing.
Yeah, and we'll just have them so that they're pointing directly at the way he's coming, I suppose.
Coatlmox, meanwhilst, you have made it to your little forge shrine, cubbyhole. It's perhaps not the most secure, as you were spotted in this area, but assuming your cultists have done their job right, reports of you being spotted have come in all over the ship by now. What are we doing?
What would be required to get all of our screens and audio channels blasting High Gothic lessons across the ship?
You'd probably need the Mechanicum to go on board for it, but they could sort it for you.
Alright.
It's funny to think that there'll be a fair number of ratings on the ship who are like, that's really nice. Our Primarchs want us to learn.
Can I privately come Nazeem?
By all means.
Hello, brother!
Oh, hello, how are you doing?
In a bit of a pickle, but I was hoping I could ask for a favour.
Of course, what you need?
My latest plan in educating the Primarch involves trying to blast lessons across the ship throughout all screens and audio dockings.
Your plan, is it?
It is now. But
Sounds fantastic, brother.
it would require assistance from the Mechanicum, and they probably won't help me right now.
I see. So what can I do for you?
I was hoping you could petition them yourself,
Yeah, I can feel,
Oh, I see.
or at least put the idea to Coayah.
I can feel Benji's
Fair
arm
enough.
twitching right now.
I'm sure I can find some resources and to try to put this in action. Of course.
Excellent. Oh, and as a backup plan, can you just find a data slate with some of the lessons on and leave it in a vent somewhere and ping me the location?
Of course, yes.
Thank you.
That's right, anytime.
Collusion or treason?
Both.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for Primarch, That's all. I don't know where he is. I didn't ask him where he is. He's not going to tell me where he is. I am helping the Primarch.
I feel like that would end up go down really well in court, and you're going to end up flying the Firebird.
The Firebird is fucking amazing, mate.
Like, it's been really useful every time we've needed it.
I'm sorry, you all laughed at me then, and the brains and everything else, but look at where we are now!
Where we are now.
One of the worst things about this entire experience, this whole Space Marine saga, has been quite how often young Nicholas is correct. It's really deeply distressing. So, Nazeem, you've been given a task. What are we doing?
I'm gonna hunt down some English lessons. Some High Gothic lessons. And I shall then vox and petition our Lord Commander for this idea. And while I'm doing that, I shall head over to the Forge Shrine and comms our what's her name? What her role?
Magos Adjutant Drelora Favel.
Oh, the one was I was thinking.
Yeah, her. I'm gonna go find her and take 2 slates. I'll have one hidden behind my back, whatever, in a pocket. A spare, we'll call it. Give her, like, here are some lessons I've found, and we'd like to comms them across the entire ship.
Okay, so you've not really been doing a huge amount this time around, so I would say you can get this sorted whilst everyone else is doing other things. What were you gonna, Carl?
Oh no, it's like when Nick asked who the Magos is, like the name that I got was characters. I can't remember who they actually are. Who's
you got the previous Magos?
Oh right, okay then. Right, so yeah, that cool.
Yeah.
Can I and actually on the way, I'm gonna put the spare data plate with lessons on it in this vent here and ping it to Coatlmox.
If you mark it with like a little purple X or something for him. But
Little purple X. I can do that.
So that's the one just north of the Gellerfield generator then, it looks like. The main Gellerfield generator even. Cool. So as you arrive at the Forge Shrine, you are ushered into the antechamber for honoured guests rather quickly, and Drelora Favelnim is out within about 2 or 3 minutes.
Chief Psychiatrist, we don't see you very often. How can I assist?
You don't. They've got a plan or an idea, or a secondary plan, as it were, to stream High Gothic lessons across the ship in hopes that... does she know it's Primarch we're hunting?
I think Benji told her. I think Coayah
I think
let
she
it slip.
I think we told. I think that's because that's the thing from last week. Is she's a goddamn simp.
Cool. Yes. In hopes that our new guest picks up on the lesson and we can negotiate with them.
And this is authorized by the Legion Master, yes? The
Legion Master, I did ping you on the way over.
Okay, so Coayah, as you were walking down to the plasma drive, you got a ping from Nazeem about blasting audio lessons on the ship's pick feeds?
I'm busy. I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, you left him on red.
Yeah. He's currently indisposed trying to deal with it. It's just a secondary thing. It's fine, don't worry. I mean, at the very least, the
somewhat conflict. I was told we were capturing him with a form of toxic glue.
Yeah, well, we could do both. But, I mean, in the meantime, if the glue doesn't work, there's no harm. It doesn't contradict the two. We could do both of them. I'm not saying you shouldn't do the glue. I'm just saying, could you...
Sorry?
I'm not saying you shouldn't do the glue. I'm just saying that, could you put this up on the Vox and all the screens around the ship, please? On repeat.
And what am I expected to say if the crew asks why we're blasting High Gothic lessons?
We're just making sure that everyone is up to scratch, and that for anyone who's slightly less able, that this is a free educational lesson.
I see. So
it's always good to build from the base up.
This lesson you've selected, how to learn High Gothic in 3 easy lessons. Brackets animated. We consider this appropriate material.
Have you met some of the ratings?
Valid point. Well, far be it from me to contradict the chief psychiatrist's order. I will see it done.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I can do to help you today, my lord?
That's it. Thank you very much.
She bows low.
I head back to the library. My domain, where all my knowledge is.
You've not made it more than maybe 300-400 meters walk away when you hear an overhead vox begin to crackle, and the voice of a young, overly enthusiastic linguistics tutor begins piping out in Low Gothic how to learn High Gothic. A picked feed nearby, lazily stapled into a wall, flickers rapidly, changing over from a steady stream of important diagnostic information to a grainy recording
I don't know about that.
of the same overly enthusiastic linguistics tutor.
The screens are still usable.
Hey now, come along with me! High Gothic 1, 2, 3!
That's amazing.
I'm just losing it on you.
Coayah
I
takes
guess-
his first step into the tunnel ploughed by the Primarch and his captured Terminator. And the very first hab, the very first rating compartment you step into, the picked feed flickers and starts playing How to Learn High Gothic in 3 Easy Lessons, brackets animated. So I believe either Kuzco or Mackie is next on the list.
Brilliant idea, guys. Well done, Carl.
Yay! Help
Even though
Sorry,
in
that's really
character, in character it'll be Coatlmox. I'm sorry.
I'm
Just
sorry to
browse
say that. I
furrow.
just really wanted it to happen.
Mackie can go next if he wants.
Fair. Ollie, you're muted.
Sorry, I was saying I don't know if I am next. I thought it would be Kuzco or Coayah, right? But if you guys don't mind, I mean, my squad's just going to be following.
Okay, well, I mean, we can scoot over to Coayah whilst you catch up if you like. I'm also happy for Kuzco to go, but as far as I'm aware, he's doing his what's it called, transferring gas to liquid situation, and
I mean,
super happy to give Carl screen time, but also that seems to be what he wants to be doing.
yeah, I say ultimately, unless anything necessary happens, it's pretty much just going to be reaction shots from Cusco.
Freeze frame, so I bet you're wondering how we got here.
So far, Kuzco has switched off his Vox, presumably at that turned off the picked feeds in the Medicaid blister. I don't know. Kuzco gradually just cuts contact with the outside world and focuses on the mass production of trank liquid. Liquid trank.
I'm in my happy place.
His happy place. Industrial chemicals.
Hey, I never said it was going to be for everyone.
So. Okay, Mackie is rushing to catch up along with his associated 20-person tourney squad.
Yeah, and the other tourney squad, I guess, is essentially going to be forming a pincer movement. Because, well, maybe not pincer so much as, I don't know what the fuck it is. But basically, my squad did move up. They're now on the same level as presumably where old Primarchy boy is going to be running through.
He's definitely making enough noise that it would be difficult for him to sneakily transfer to another level.
Yeah, so my guys are going to get their graviton cannons ready and to be pointing at the wall he's presumably going to come through. And before he actually does come through it, they will shoot through into it to try and just pin whatever's behind there.
Well, they just blast him backwards.
It might do if we can maybe, I don't know. We're warriors well versed in precision application of our cannons, I would have thought. So we can maybe aim for the side, try and pin him against a wall or something like that, or whatever. Failing that, I was going to say that there is another squad coming up behind him. They can just pin him between them.
Will be knocked down and pin. Just to double check, Ollie, because reading it says pinned. Be knocked down and pinned. Are you sure that doesn't mean pinning?
One enormous target, make a -40 strength test that does 1d10 impact damage. I'm just running with the fact that multiple beams will, like you said, if more of them hit in one area.
I think you're talking about the literal pinning effect.
Yeah, the pinning effect, which doesn't at all stop you from moving, it just makes it more difficult.
Like suppressive fire, you're pinned by suppressive fire.
Yeah.
It's not a physical pin or something. It's you are pinned by suppressive fire. Like, you can't easily get up because there's lots of fire coming at you. It makes it just...
The way...
Moving or attempting any physical action while pinned by one of these weapons requires an opposed strength test versus strength 50. Or strength 70 for focused. Yeah, it's unclear.
badly worded because it seems it's implying the quality pinning. But this is not you're pinned as in, oh god, we're pinned, man down. It's you're literally being forced into the floor by concentrated gravitational waves.
That's how I interpreted it.
So it's got the rules just beneath that, but reading them, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but it's not the 100% 20 beams will definitely pin him. He'd still get a strength test versus it. And
that's fine.
He is Giga Chad.
Does it get harder because he's got multiple beams holding him down though? That would be my assumption.
Probably, but you're still capping out at an opposed strength test of 90 versus 90.
Mm-hmm.
And in that fight, it becomes about who's got the highest unnatural strength bonus, which is...
I'll be him by far.
Yeah, because they're not cumulative, or at least not linearly cumulative. I would argue you would get some extra benefit from having so many of them, but a lot of this is just going to be you utterly wrecking the hab block. They're demolition weapons rather than capture weapons.
Totally. But this man's a demolition ball himself. So.
You know what? That said, if anything is going to capture him, 20 Terminators on one side and 20 Terminators on the other side, all blasting him with... We'll see how it plays. If nothing else, he might just run out of strength. He doesn't have unlimited calorie reserves, just heavy.
Yeah.
And man's been swimming forever. He's probably not got great energy reserves.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think his stamina's probably pretty high.
Yeah, no, his stamina's pretty high, right? I'm not saying he's a pushover, but also he's done a lot. He's not really massively stopped moving, and as far as we know, he's eaten maybe one small energy bar. And not stopped to breathe, and he's been heavily tranked quite recently, and a lot of his skin's been ripped off. Eventually, he's just going to collapse, even if it might take quite a while.
And here's me expecting the 40 graviton cannons, so what finally tips the scale?
But in between those 40 graviton cannons, we have Coayah, who is following up the tunnel. You can hear the termies thundering along behind you, lumbering along at a somewhat slower pace. What are we doing, Coayah?
Hoping that he gets to the point where he's pinned to the ground, because they'll pin him to the ground, but they probably won't. It'll take him a long time to exhaust him. And fortunately, I know that in the real game, the graviton weapons have the gets hot special rule. They do overheat. You can't just keep firing them.
So the way I think it works here is that because you only have a very limited amount of ammo, and they only have 45 meters of range. But it says that it seems that it's a beam that lasts for 2d10 rounds. I think. I'm not actually entirely sure. The rules aren't massively clear on it as well. But it seems like you fire it, and then if it's a successful hit, it lasts for 2d10 rounds. That's how I interpreted it.
I mean, that's the way it works in all the other things is they have gets hot, so they fire the beam, and that's fine, but you can't just keep firing the beam because it will get hot.
It sounds like that's what... They're both doing the same thing from different angles. One of them says they just cut out at, and the other one says you can keep going, but they will melt.
Yes, that seems like it.
And obviously I don't know how long it's going to be before these things just melt or give out.
The thing is, we can have other teams come in. There are teams close enough that you could theoretically just replace people who get there.
They don't have that many graviton cannons. They're not standard issue.
They are for
No,
us.
but to be fair, yeah, you've really been accruing them, and you have most of the Legion. So there aren't that many graviton cannons. You've been hogging the ones that are coming out of Mars and the other assorted Forge worlds. And of the ones that you've hogged, most of those are in this fleet, and Mackie's already brought a load on board. In this one circumstance, you are overflowing with graviton cannons.
I've got it noted down from the first session. Was breakthroughs in adapting weapons for Terminators means Havoc Company now has many custom weapons for individual suits, meaning Havoc Company has some of the best weapons in the fleet, and we have, as a sub-note, we have a lot of weaponry to choose from. And graviton cannons are like our signature.
Right.
Ollie has been specking into this for quite a while at this point. He's accrued...
Stolen all of the Terminator armor and all of the graviton cannons from
There
every
is a
other
reason
Legion.
other people have trouble getting Termies and Gravitons, and it's Havoc Company. Havoc Company is where it's all going. Oh, dear.
We
I
can't
see.
share. You can't make
Not all of it, but like a lot. Yeah.
Still, I thought we had him pinned last time. I'm not taking the chance.
Yeah, exactly. And also, as mentioned, they're not precision weapons. Past a certain point, you're just disintegrating everything around him, and he will just fall through the floor.
And around him is the ship and the plasma drive.
Well, he's into the ratings quarters now.
And they don't matter nearly as much.
I hate to say it, but he's not wrong.
They can just live in the secondary or tertiary hangar, really. They need to. For a little bit.
In an emergency, yes, you could set up refugee camps in the hangars. However, if you have to set up refugee camps on your ship, something has gone wrong.
Oh yeah, something has gone wrong. A bloody great primarch who's feral.
You know what? You win this one. So, in light of that then, Coayah, it sounds like you're following along and hoping he gets taken down by the grav-cannons in front.
Yeah, basically, if he gets taken down by the grav cannons, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to sort of leap atop him, ordering them to stop firing, obviously, and just start beating about him with the thunder hammer.
Okay.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
You can see him even seeming like he's starting to slow down. This is the second Terminator he's bull rushed through wall after wall after wall in the last couple of hours. Last hour even, in fact. Oh no, last couple of hours, yeah, because we had the gap. Yeah, last few hours. By your mark, you've gone through a good deal of the ratings quarters. The Terminator limply trying to fight him off, but at this point, concussed all to hell, even through all the cushioning of his armour. And you're just about, or he is just about, you're hanging back because you know what's going to happen, to emerge into the lift plat on the opposite side. You've passed terrified family after terrified family. There's a low but intense hum, a different frequency than the hum coming from the plasma drives to your rear, and the burning Mechanicum back there doing their best to stabilize things. And then the entire wall in front of him crumbles. The walls to either side of it, out of your field of vision, crumple. And a tidal wave of gravimetric force throws the wreckage, one extremely surprised Terminator, and the Primarch, now beneath the Terminator, backwards. His grip on it is strong, but his feet are not particularly anchored to the ground, and he goes careening through the air towards you.
Oh.
Yeah, bada bada bada. Yeah, bada bada.
Okay. Ballistic skill check. He's a large target. I will give you your...
I'm trying to hit you with a thunder hammer.
I will give you a +10.
Surely this would be weapon skill.
Oh, sorry. What did I say? Ballistic skill. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, weapon skill. That's the slip of the tongue. If you get your quality bonus too, if it has one.
I don't think it does, but equally, it's the thunder hammer of a Legion Master, so I presume it's good
I tell
quality.
you what, we'll say that it's good quality because, in fact, you know what? We'll do you one better. We'll say it is the thunder hammer you inherited from the previous Legion Master, who I think his name was Tlaloc? No, his Legion Master. No, that was your Grand Captain. Yeah, he's dead. No, your Legion Master was Trecenta, who was referenced like twice. So you've inherited his previous Thunderhammer, the only thing the Custodians let you keep from your prior flagship.
Sorry, was that
Sorry.
Was that Trecenta or Placenta?
Trecenta.
Right.
It is, I presume, pimpin'.
It is best quality. It is, it's shaped in the manner of an ancient water demon from By the way, where is my notes on what we called your... Well, I remember we noted this down.
That's techie. No.
It was Miserica. Yeah, it's shaped to the fashion of an ancient water demon of Miserica. Goggle eyes, long, sharp, curved teeth that pull back to reveal a wide, flat tongue, which is itself a giant slab of onyx with the finest power field in the Legion.
Oh,
it doesn't have it does not have the usual inertial dampeners that Thunderhammers traditionally have. What it has is a manufactured onyx head for that tongue, that immensely good quality power field, that fantastic piece of artisanal mastercraft, and then tiny, micro anti-grav generators welded into the haft and the rear of the head, which make it incredibly light to handle. In effect, it's you that puts the power in, but you're able to put a lot of power in. Best quality Thunderhammer. Okay. We'll call that. I guess that's probably a plus 20, so that's net plus 30.
I don't know, like a Primarch when he suddenly comes to
that is
realize...
3 degrees of success.
Oh, tasty.
3 degrees of success.
Sorry, Pops. Gotta do what a man's gotta do.
He comes careening back towards you. As before, you see him begin to right himself in midair, abandoning the Terminator, turning around, getting ready to land his jump. His eyes laser focus on you. And for a moment, his upper lip curls into a snarl of recognition and hatred. Berserk animal fury. And then you twat him with the water demon. Still suffering the tidal wave of gravimetric force which you had just about positioned yourself out of range of, when smashed with the Thunderhammer, he goes off at a diagonal, blasting through floor after floor, wall after wall, rolling and screaming. Sprays of Primarch blood coming bubbling out of him, blasting. A thick wedge of skin, which, upon closer look, your reluctantly expert eyes show that's a degloved hand right there. It's caught itself very unfortunately. Limply flaps off of a nearby exposed wall.
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'ma hit him again. He's still conscious.
You're gonna rush after him and twat him again.
Yep.
I never tell you, Benji, I like the cut of your jib.
Okay, you rush after him to twat him again. So he's blasted through perhaps 3 or 4 hab blocks and one terrified family who are now mostly paced. This is not a controlled fall. This is I got hit by 20 grav-cannons and then someone cricket batted me all to hell.
I do feel like our Primarch, when he becomes more aware, is going to have like he doesn't know why, but a fear of gravity weaponry. Or gravity in general, and he doesn't know why. He just won't remember this.
Or Primarchs don't have fear.
Wow, they can have phobias.
They can absolutely have fear.
Yeah.
Well,
it's the human part of them.
And that kind of like what turns a lot of them over to chaos, is they give in to fear that they kind of didn't realise they had.
It depends on the Primarchs. Some of them, yes. Some of them, no.
Fair.
It's arguably what keeps Lionel Johnson loyalist as well, honestly, is his capacity to feel fear and paranoia. So, Coayah. In like a shot, you charge after him, wielding the symbol of your Legion's authority, ready to batter him over the head until he submits and leads you.
I don't need him to submit and lead us. I need him to submit and go unconscious so that we can get him some goddamn tutelage.
I'm afraid the beatings will continue until our Primarch improves go for anyone else's head.
that's what I did. Like this beatdown's going on while the how to learn High Gothic videos are going on through all the hab blocks, and it echoes as a background music.
Now remember, kids, the genitive case.
Just every single vowel is punctuated by a blam from the Thunderhammer.
Look,
Oh,
I know I probably shouldn't be enjoying this in character, but Coayah's going to feel a little bit of satisfaction. You know why? Because at the moment he is the only man in the entire Imperium who is not the Emperor of Mankind, who is actually beating up a Primarch.
we had a lot of help from everyone else.
Oh no, it's not that he didn't have help, but who else can lay claim to the fact that they are currently throwing hands with a Primarch and somewhat winning?
I will take a weapon skill test with a hidden modifier, please.
If you fail it, his hands going to come up and just grab the hammer. It's not going to be good.
I'm going to fate that.
Hundo.
1. 14!
Nice.
That is 4 degrees of success. Apparently I've been practicing.
You follow him into the wreckage, the path. You follow him into the wreckage, the path that his tossed body has carved through the hand blocks. It's a tense chase, lasting just seconds, but you know that any second could be your last. There is a decent chance that he could just spring out and kill you. You're prepared. Which is good, because he springs out ready to kill you, throwing himself back towards the oncoming attacker, knowing instinctively that you're coming after him. In his hands are a brace of knives.
Couldn't bring a knife to a hammer fight.
Your hammer comes down hard on his head. His knives sink in hard into your shoulder pads, puncturing through the ceramite. And
oh god, he has AP2 knives!
Deep, though non-fatally, into the meat of your shoulders. You grunt in pain as the Primarch is spiked into the floor. And then through the floor. And then, somewhat undramatically, through a second, weaker floor, which crumbles a second or two after he lands on it. You hear a little whimper of pain from below.
Just gonna keep following him down.
So you're just gonna jump on top of the Primarch.
And keep hitting him, yes.
I feel like right now there's a small child pinned under the table he fell on, and that whimper is like, help me, and just like, no.
I'm just gonna make the situation worse.
Today, we choose violence and
You
hammers.
feel a certain bloodlust rising in your veins, Coayah. This is what it means to hunt. This is what it means to kill. To hunt. A little voice at the back of your head tells you, you are demonstrably one of the greatest warriors in the Imperium. You're the only Astartes alive who's beaten up a Primarch. And you hurl yourself down after him. Give me a weapon skill check, hidden modifier.
You know what's sad is you're never going to be able to tell anyone about this.
It is, but I have plans for the Horus Heresy.
Oh, we're definitely becoming a traitor.
dear.
Legion.
Even if Cora must die, he will go out in the most glorious way. Do I fate it? I probably won't get as good a result.
I say yes. You have a roughly 50% chance of getting a better result. I say roughly. You have a 58% chance.
You fly in what feels like slow motion down the floors, your thunderhammer held low, ready to land almost directly on top of the
Fuck it,
Primarch's
risk it.
spine.
That's a pass! Haha!
Doff?
3 degrees. Oh, sorry, my previous one. Am I still getting, obviously with the hidden modifier, am I still rolling at my target, or am I rolling for my weapon skill and you're just going off the hidden modifier?
If you just tell me what it would be at a +0, and then I work out with the hidden modifier what it actually is.
+0 with my bonuses, I would get a plus, because best quality is +10, right?
I think
Standard,
we said you
are we
can
doing
have
standard
plus-
attack?
I
Or?
think we're not doing standard attack on this one, but I think we gave it to you for the ease of the shot earlier. But this is a more difficult one. But I think we said you were getting +20 for it being best quality because it's the Legion Master's hammer. So
In which case, then the previous one would have been like 6 degrees of success.
that's fine. So what's this one?
This one is 3 degrees.
Sorry, 6 degrees of success. Okay, he went down 3 floors, not 2.
No, sorry. So 6, 5. Yeah, 3 degrees. Just off 4 degrees.
3
Couple points.
degrees. You land directly on his spine. You hear a sickening snap.
Not the only Primarch who's broken. Sorry, the only Starty who's broken a Primarch's spine.
And then you're sent flying as he whirls around on the floor. Nevertheless, you were kind of low-key prepared for this, and the Thunderhammer is already coming down. As he whirls, spiking you off towards a wall, your Thunderhammer catches his arm, and his momentum causes him to essentially punch the floor incredibly hard, where it hits a load-bearing pillar. And his left arm snaps like a particularly and abnormally robust twig.
Branches, I think.
One of those ones that I'm presuming in my mind that I haven't broken his back, because that fall wouldn't probably break an Astarte's back, so it's unlikely to break his.
It wasn't the fall, it was you jumping on him.
Even that probably wouldn't break an Astarte's
I mean,
back.
it could have been any number of things snapping.
The amount of sheer concussive force this man has experienced in the last 20 minutes. I mean, I'm not surprised something snapped. Something has liquefied.
With that, the Primarch throws himself to his feet, bares his teeth at you, and hisses, scuttling backwards, holding his limp, broken arm up to his chest. Now, the normative case is... His remaining arm flies out and smashes a nearby picked feed.
Oh, the beatings will continue until you just go unconscious and come with me.
Just trying to help you, you say as you smash him in the head for a fourth time.
He
the hammer
scuttles backwards into another room. We check in and see what everyone else is doing. How's everyone? Mackie, you have arrived at this point at the top of the. You've caught up to the other squad basically, so you may consider yourself in the tunnel that he was carving through the hab blocks, but not down in the decks with Coayah. What are you up to? But also, what is everyone else up to? Coatlmox, Nazeem, Kuzco, etc. I'm
just going to send a squad down, or 2 squads maybe. Oh no, actually, 1 squad will go down. So this one here goes down into it. This one at the back sort of, I guess, comes out and tries to go down to the lower level if we can figure out where he is, I suppose. So we'll try and catch him from the back again.
Maybe a bit difficult. But
that's fine.
You order the Termies to start fanning out and following Coayah essentially on the one hand and or blocking off retreat on the other. Coatlmox and Nazeem and Kuzco.
I'm just going to move hiding places and try and monitor the situation best I can. Very curious if I hear over the radio that Coayah is just smacking high up with a thunderhammer.
If you didn't know better, you'd swear you could hear what almost sounds like Coyah's voice, muttering things that you'd expect to hear from the murder over the Vox. But no one else seems to be reacting to it, so it can't be true.
Kuzco, during the whole creation process, has taken a little break, and he's gathered together his apothecaries in terms of console fashion responsibilities.
Yep.
And has made it known that the APB on Coatlmox is lower priority than apothecary duties. But to still be on the lookout sort of thing, make it look like it's a priority, but actually trying to treat the wounded and stuff like that.
One of your apothecaries raises a hand. Should we stay on the lookout for him whilst remaining within the Medicaid blister to pursue our duties?
Well, certainly. He could appear from anywhere, even here. We must remain alert.
They all nod between themselves, getting the gist of your orders.
Once the consuls meeting has concluded, I'm going to not necessarily go back to creating the gas, but I'm just going to sample a little tiny eensy-weensy bit to see how effective it is, and then maybe sample another bit just to make sure.
Okay, so you're just going to quietly abuse your liquid trank.
Yes.
Carl's getting high on his own supply.
That's what went through my mind.
As Kuzco decides, you know what, we're all getting court-martialed. May as well have a little fun.
Fine, the person who'd be doing the court-martialing is me.
if anything happens, I'll just say there was an accident, right, and it leaked a little bit.
And what Coayah doesn't know can't hurt him.
So,
Looks
Nazeem,
like
what
a
are
break.
you up to?
I'm going to start putting together a lesson plan for our Primarch. For catching him up on all the knowledge he has never had. In case he's... because the brains will help supplement certain bits, but he needs more knowledge. So I will start putting together some lesson plans for a Primarch and etiquette lessons and so forth, just so there's a plan put out.
God, horrifyingly, I think you're actually qualified for this. High Gothic over intelligence.
I like evil laughs just while planning a Gothic lesson.
It's because young Nicholas has been giving, or at least is assuming that he will get a chance to play a formative role in this Primarch's education.
Yeah. And I'm planning his education.
What's this one? This just says people named Daemon. Good.
A High Gothic. That's just standard, isn't it? That's just standard stuff.
So Nazeem, I'm standing
lower
here
down on the
reviewing
right-hand side.
So Nazeem, I'm here to review your curriculum. I haven't started it yet. Quickly hides away all the notes he's got.
Do I int that? You know, I feel like this is one of the few roles that actually matter for him. But I'm actually going to fate that.
Yeah, you've got quite a high int as well. I'm not sure how you fluffed that one.
It's 55 int, and it's only trained, so there's no bonuses to this.
It's a special skill, isn't it? So
High Gothic, speak language. Bottom right, it's int, and it group, and it's untrained and trained, so it's just trained.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. So it's just a +0. Huh.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so I'm gonna fake that.
Okay, don't get hundo.
Alright. It's not as bad.
2 off.
So that the thing that improves it already. That's the 2 read off?
2 off on 55, isn't it? It's complete tens. It applies both ways.
I thought it was complete tens for passes, not failures.
No, it's both ways. Complete tens.
I've been nerfing myself.
Maybe it does round up, actually. No, I'm not crazy, right? It's complete tens both ways.
No, it's complete tens both ways. That's how we played.
Fuck, I've been nerfing myself for years!
Well, I mean, unless it's the first one, right? A failure is still a failure.
Yeah, the first one rounds up, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Fuck!
That's amazing.
Oh, young Nicholas. I've always enjoyed playing with you.
Can't fucking believe that.
I mean, at this time,
You know
it seems
what?
like Nick's playing
I
himself.
Yeah, you do always seem to fail slightly worse than everyone else. This does explain it quite neatly. Never wonder. Okay. So, 2 off. You're reasonably confident in this lesson plan. You feel like this covers basically everything that you would expect a growing young boy to need, a growing young feral boy to need, and you can't think of any major gaps in your curriculum as you look at it grow over the hours you've spent in the library. Assuming you'd be working on this slightly retroactively. A little voice at the rear of your mind. Not even a voice, more of a feeling, a sensation, an emotive image. A familiar, warm thing.
Hello.
Approves of your curriculum. Did you just laugh so loud that the Discord mic picked it up as spam?
Possibly. It's like picturing, in the corner of the document, there's partial pentagrams and so forth. That I don't even realise are there.
It's everything a growing mind might need.
Oh,
This is how we become a fucking traitor legion.
Yeah, it's my fault.
I mean, we all knew it would be one way or another, I think.
I don't mean to stereotype, but I feel like everyone would be surprised if it wasn't. Anyway. Coayah. The Primarch has disappeared into another room in the tiny little hab that you're in. And at any moment he might punch through into another hab block. Or hab block. What are we doing?
I'm going after him.
How are you going after him? Is this like a rush in after him? Because you do know he's capable of ambushes. Or is it like a play it cautious and risk losing him? Like, what are we doing?
I've weakened him, so he's got a broken arm.
You have successfully...
I'm going to rush after him.
Okay. I'll take a dodge roll, please.
Oh, no.
At a -20.
Oh, no! What have I done?
Back to feral creature into a corner and attacked him.
Benji. What the story gods commanded.
I passed, bitch! That's 3 degrees of success.
That was what, sorry?
3 degrees, just matrix slide under the swinging arm.
You rush into the room, the little kitchenette he disappeared into. A terrified rating is in here, cowering in the corner. Hands clasped over their eyes, just willing these monsters away. You're already scanning for him before you enter, ready to attack him. But he moves like lightning, coming out from under a nearby cupboard. Another knife in his hand, pointed directly at your throat. A slower marine would have been stabbed in the neck, and if they're unlucky, probably the spine through the neck. You throw yourself under the knife blade, and on 3 DOS, give me a speedy weapon skill at -10 to see if you can twat him on the way past.
Oh, proper anime style, like.
Proper anime style.
Do I get my weapon bonuses or not?
You get your weapon bonuses, it's just the base difficulty.
Oh, I've got one more fate left. Do I use it? Because that's not a bad fail.
I'd say yes.
That's one
I'd say yes. Use it because, like, you know, you this might be your chance to put him down.
Your objective has really changed, Ollie.
Huh?
No, because when you say put him down...
Put him down as in, put him down for a
Beat
lovely
him
sleep.
senseless.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm not saying the roll, Benji. Are you sticking with it?
I was still debating. No,
that's
fuck
fair.
it off.
No, you don't have to reroll. I wasn't sure if it had come through and Carl was laughing at that or the other.
No! Oh, no. Okay, so that is 2 degrees of success. 2 degrees of failure, sorry.
2 degrees of failure. You go to slam the Legion Master's symbol of office into his chest, to throw him backwards through the wall, to really try and actually pin the fucker down. As you threw yourself under his blade, he throws himself sideways around your Thunderhammer and back out the room.
Clever girl.
The first Terminator from Mackie's squad lands through the gap and is immediately... You know what? Call odds or evens for me, please. Ollie, wait, hang about. I need to write it. Cool, now call odds or evens for me.
Evens, no odds.
Evens. He scooches past under the gap just before the Terminator would have landed directly on him.
That would be 1 graviton cannon served from an angry Terminator straight to this man's face. Well, yeah, face, why not? Well, you know, it won't be a cool shot, but if possible.
Yeah. You know what? It's only 1 turn. Make the shot for him, Ollie. Close range. We'll call it 70 or under with all of the fucking modifiers. He's a big boy, close range, but also it's difficult. Yeah.
2 degrees success.
2 degrees success. The Termi points his graviton cannon and hits the Primarch in the rear. Take that, twist. The Primarch is sent hurtling through a nearby wall, whimpering in pain.
I'm going to just see then if this guy can advance and keep him pinned whilst more termies drop through, and then hopefully Coayah can go and smash him in the head a few more times.
Oh, he's. You know what? I'm doing a GM roll for him. Let's see how we do.
Sometimes it don't be like it is, but sometimes it do.
He careens through the wall and cartwheels out of the beam on the other side. Well, a very awkward cartwheel as he has one non-functioning limb and is now missing. I mean, one of his hands is... he's got one limb is broken and the other one, the hand, was degloved.
He's got much skin left on him. We're going to be able to make our own skin flag out of him at some point.
Oh yeah, sorry. So you're currently stood at the top of the hole, which means you will have passed the your Primarch's hand in degloved skin, just gently flapping in the limp non-breeze of the air conditioning.
Mackie goes and stows that somewhere on his person, thinking either he might need it later, or the Primarch might need it later.
Please add one degloved Primarch skin hand, or Primarch hand skin to your inventory.
Done. Fucking done.
It's the left hand, if that makes any difference.
Alright, that's... Signature
You just loot some Primarch skin.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Benji to do it, but he was being pretty professional. Also, I guess to be fair for Coayah as well, not going in on the skinning angle is kind of his thing.
Do it occasionally, but it's to make a point.
Do you think that thing would fit around a power fist when we turn it into a relic?
Oh my god, yes, I'm doing that. I put it around a graviton cannon.
You could put... I mean, sure. You could put it around a small power fist.
Let's start wrapping our guns here.
You just got to make the glove look like this and then put a gun inside it. It's big enough. Just saying.
So... Where's my Primarch thing? Cool, the Termi takes off after him. I will take... I'll take an agility check from Coayah, please. To see
just flat, or...
what skill would you like to roll over it? So you're trying to follow him as he, pushes out into the hab block. Basically, he's full pelt running away from you now. You have beaten the shit out of him, and he's scared and angry.
Shadowing?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, we have that as shadow. Probably tracking. He's probably going to be quite easy to track, if that's possible.
You can roll whichever is the higher of shadowing or tracking.
Is he coming in the direction of any of my squads?
That is a pass of 1 degree.
Cool, 1 degree. So, with you on his tail, he's not able to get clear back into the vents. He knows you'll just come after him, which means he's essentially stuck moving in the little back corridors and alleyways that mark the giant city centre that is the ratings quarters. And in this environment, unlike the vents, the Terminator squads can follow. Which means that within a few minutes, they're starting to block off exits. Clear shots with the graviton cannons are difficult, and if nothing else, he seems to be starting to learn to cope with using them to propel him away from things.
Motherfucker's rocket jumping.
But they do at least offer some kind of blockade, and he's definitely slowing down, and from all of the blood, even with his rapid clotting facilities, he's starting to weaken. A little ping goes off in your helmet. Legion Master, Lord Marshal, the liquid trank is ready to be deployed, and we've delivered it to the ratings quarters checkpoint.
Yes, Mackie or will give the order then for it to be loaded and somehow shot at him, I guess, yeah. Quite can.
The attached rating. We've loaded it into some of the fire chimeras. Is that acceptable?
That is absolutely fine. Fire the fire chimeras. I presume Mackie has followed along at this point.
You've kind of hopped down the tunnel way, and then you're proceeding along as best you can. So you can consider yourself like keeping up with the chase, but essentially you've got like a load of Terminators acting as actual hunters, and then Coayah acting as almost your hound, keeping the Primarch on his toes. And you're sort of hanging back and coordinating a little bit, but they're veteran warriors, so they're kind of coordinating themselves. So you're more like high level and staying near. Not to mention the fact that like you're in critical condition.
Yeah, doesn't help. Cool. We can get that shit loaded into chimeras.
The Terminators begin trying to herd him towards the closest fire chimera. Built for firefighting, it has an industrial strength hose.
Let's see how tough you are without skin, motherfucker.
Coayah, you've hounded the Primarch through alleyway after alleyway. Past and even through small crowds. You've had tiny skirmishes with him. He seems, if anything, to fear you. An intoxicating sensation. This is, if perhaps a theological term, all but a demigod. And he is visibly afraid of you.
Some real weird daddy issues in a couple of years.
You heard him. Getting pings from the Terminators on your HUD. Telling you how to cut him off, how to move him towards the next capture point. When he suddenly skids out into a street in front of you. A wider, open section of alleyway. And is almost immediately hit by a blast of cool, almost ice-white liquid. The scream is like nothing you've ever heard. Sounds like the man's soul is being obliterated as his raw nerve endings are soaked in caustic tranquilizer.
Yeah, that's gotta suck.
It stings.
He sinks to his knees, screaming and sobbing, gently steaming as it eats away at his nerves and skin. His movements growing sluggish as he collapses onto his hands, even the broken one. You see him spit out a lump of shattered tooth and keel over onto his side. What do, Coayah?
Well, no use in half measures. I'm going to mercifully put him out.
Part of me is thinking that's a great idea. The other part of me is thinking he may be on his last few hit points.
Don't kill our Primarch, please.
I'm not trying to kill him, I'm just trying to knock him unconscious for a bit. We need to contain him.
I think he's pretty unconscious right now.
Yeah, I think you could probably put him in a stasis pod right now.
Well, you don't have a stasis pod on scene.
Yeah, we can't. We
can't.
We don't
we were told we couldn't get one big enough.
Yeah, we don't have one big enough.
What is your containment plan?
Yeah, once you've knocked the man out, when he wakes up, what are you going to do?
So that's where the pectoral cargo tree thing comes in, remember?
All I remember about that is you wanting to flood it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Flood it, put some big old...
It's been like 6 hours, they're still cleaning it out.
Wow, you know.
It is a cargo area. There's a lot of stuff stored there.
I wasn't concerning myself with how we would contain him. I was concerned with containing him.
Legion Master Coayah is the only one immediately on the scene here. If you've got a thing you want to do immediately, Benji,
I want to try beating him I want to try beating him unconscious.
As you advance, one of his eyes levers itself open, quivering with visible effort. The pupil narrows. His lips twitch, trying to pull back in a snarl but unable, and he, with his good arm and his broken one twitching, starts trying limply to push himself away from you. Shortly before you reach him, another blast from the hose soaks him, and he shivers, unable to scream in pain.
Okay. It's alright. Just sleep. And when you awaken, this will all be a bad
I couldn't figure out if you're talking to Owen or if you're talking to the Primarch there.
Yeah, that's what
Primarch, obviously. My other child is still asleep.
And with that, do you hit him with the thunder hammer?
Yep.
He's prone. He's frozen. Where would you like to hit him? It's essentially a free shot.
Well, again, I'm not trying to put as much effort as I possibly can into this, because obviously I don't want to actually murder him.
Go Mafia and break his knees.
You could become our new Primarch.
That's how it works. If I kill the old one, I become the new Primarch. That's the way it works. I'd like to hit him... Actually, to be honest, I can probably just punch him to try and knock him unconscious at this point, rather than thunderhammering him.
To be fair, if you did kill him, no one else would argue with you that you were the new Primarch, because you did kill a Primarch.
Yeah, I think there might be some
him.
people who would be probably a bit more upset with me.
It's 100% treason. The Emperor will have you killed.
I don't think the Emperor will have... Yeah, I don't think he's going to have me killed. I think he's going to obliter-blam me.
Yeah, he would not be
happy. You've taken out a Primarch.
Soul delete.
No, categorically, if he'd seen the lengths you'd gone to, he would not be happy as is. If you kill his son, the second one he's found, he's going to have you killed.
Well, we've killed a Primarch. How much different is it to kill Big Daddy?
So...
I'm just going to punch him until he stops moving, basically.
Okay. Whispering gently to him, laying your thunderhammer aside, you kneel in front of him. He quivers in fear, still trying to move away, but a single hand holds him there. He does his best to shrug you off, but the liquid trank is seeping in. You can see, even as his pupils try to narrow from fear, they're growing wider. Oh dear, he might well be overdosing. And gently, carefully, not quite lovingly, you pull your other fist back and begin wailing on his face. After perhaps a dozen firm punches, his jaw goes slack and his eyes unfocused. Coayah, you have successfully brutalized the Primarch.
Excellent. I would like to call for immediate medical intervention for him.
Well, we need to keep him tranked. Don't lie.
Basically, yeah. Well, the thing is, once you've got it in a medical bed, you can just keep him tranked. But we had to get him there first.
Kuzco, you've just about reached the dosage of ideal trank as far as you're concerned. You're pleasantly buzzed. This chase is going to go on for a while, and you may all die at the end of it. When the call goes in that the rogue twist has been downed and needs emergency medical intervention, what do?
I don't know any of my actual apothecaries under me, so I'm just gonna go with right hand and left hand apothecary as my two most trusted, and I'm gonna take those guys and make a beeline to it with an extra, because I presume that I've still got canisters of the stuff, and there's still
sure. I actually quite like the right hand, left hand for the record, because you could have the right hand is in charge for apothecary matters, and the left hand is in charge for console matters.
Yeah,
that's a neat little structure.
But yeah, I'm gonna bring those guys with me, and because I figure this is meant to be both apothecary duty as well as we're still meant to be keeping it quiet, right? Supposedly, quote unquote.
You are supposed to be keeping it quiet. At the moment, people are buying that there's a ridiculously dangerous mutant twist on board.
The Sensorial Spire has also been locked down, so nothing's getting out, really.
Well, nothing was getting out. You docked with another ship.
We did. We did dock. That's true. I didn't have anything bad on that.
But yeah, so the three of us are gonna go as stealthily as possible, collect him, and try and bring him back to the Apothecarium while keeping him under, and have a special room prepared in the meantime, which is basically, in my eyes, a steam room, but the steam is filled with trank liquid that's...
Jesus. Okay, well, you know what? Usually I would say this would take some kind of preparation, but to be strictly fair, you have been coordinating with the Invigilators on board for some time at this point. So, terrifying as it would be, you likely do have some form of low-key acquisitions van.
Acquisitions van.
And, indeed, some form of quiet area in which to keep restrained personnel. with your left and right hand in tow, who presumably go nameless when they take the positions. You move out. And at 20 past, that feels like a good place to leave it for the week. Reminders for next session. Anything anyone wants noted down?
Primarch has been successfully subdued.
For now. Sorry, I hit the insert button. No, everything's terrible.
Continue to be professional and double-check verification of young Nicholas's curriculum.
That's a bit mystery.
Yeah, what is the
probably
justification there? He is your, guy who's in charge of all this. And you've not really double-checked him before, and he's done your, legal cases and such.
Yes, but this is the Primarch of our Legion, and he's already in such a bad state I feel I need to take personal oversight of the project.
You say that
will
you didn't beat him into that state. Our poor Primarch needs my assistance.
I'm off screen.
It's not like Primarch not learnt High Gothic well enough. Time to get up the old Thunderhammer.
It is an interesting dynamic, the idea of having a Legion Master who the Primarch is afraid of.
I like the idea of the Epiter is Epiter is just the feared or something like that for old Coayah now. Because our Primarch never seems to want to deal with him.
Any other reminders?
I want to have a reminder that graviton cannon plan worked perfectly.
That is not at all what happened, Ollie. We had to read the rules and discovered that, in fact, the plan... I had been misunderstanding what you'd meant initially, and then neither of us... What?
I was never running off the fact that it was a tractor beam.
So that's what I'm saying, though, is that I had completely misunderstood what you wanted out of the plan, and then when we read the rules, they didn't do what either of us thought anyway.
That's exactly what I thought they did.
What? No, you thought they actually pinned people. They don't.
They do.
They don't. It is a wall of force. It is not a perfect. You are frozen in place.
Not frozen in places in
It's poor wording because it describes a property and an action.
Yeah, exactly. They've used a technical term when they shouldn't have.
Yeah, and so I know it, but it's not. The interpretation I had of it was
we're quibbling. So I'm going to put graviton cannon plan worked, but I'm going to put worked in inverted commas, inverted quotation marks.
It worked better than the glue and the tackling.
Then to Terra for instructors from Malcador. Presumably he has an office I can make requests to.
Yeah, Malcador's ass is everywhere.
I would like to put a reminder in for something like humanitarian aid to the ratings quarters, which I can try to lead along with my group, my various network of...
You probably want to hush this up for the record, so humanitarian might not be exactly what you do.
Yeah, we definitely do not want this getting out. At all. Ever.
I'm going to put 2 and 2 together. So...
I do have a couple, literally 2. Kuzco's high as a kite, and acquisition team is en route.
Both excellent things.
I've got one as well, actually.
Yeah?
This is a... Nick, think about this next session, because I won't think about it in between. Think about using abilities to help speed up Primarch learning.
Noted.
That could go badly.
I have continue hiding / open negotiations with Coayah.
Fair.
I guess. Actually, one for me would be to get check on the pectoral. Two for me actually. Check on the progress of Project Create Planet in the pectoral cargo tree fin, I suppose. And the second one is get all Terminator squads back to their respective ships.
Fair.
Well, all Havoc squads back to their respective ships.
I actually got one more as well. Nazeem doesn't agree with how Coayah handled being down at Primarch. Fear is not good. deserves respect.
I mean, he deserves respect once he stops beating up the ship.
I'm slightly
Did he do
terrified.
more damage than we did? I mean, maybe.
We did damage, but we knew what we were doing, and that makes it better.
What? You blew up a plasma drive with too many graviton cannons in a close succession.
Yeah, but we did it with
Aaron.
intention. He is pure and feral. Arguably, that's actually better in some
He
ways.
wasn't blowing up plasma drives. He was hiding in the vents because he was scared, and he deserves some form of respect because he is our gene seed father.
He deserves respect. He can speak high.
Any other reminders?
Respected.
Our Legion's whole thing is the smaller the thing, like the less you use to take down big things, the better you are. He survived and took down Leviathans with his bare hands. He deserves a massive amount of respect.
Yeah, but we took him down.
Feedback. Anything you liked, anything you disliked, anything you'd like to see more of or less of next time.
Although I can't put my finger on it, but it did feel like the first half of the session went quite. Like, things didn't progress very fast in the first half of the session. I don't know if that was. I don't know. I can't put my finger on why. It just felt like the way. I don't know if anyone else felt that way.
No, I think it was all. It might have been because you were doing a lot more rolling in the second half.
That might be it. Yeah, that might just be it. To be fair.
I think there was an amount of rules wrangling as well, but I also think we needed to have that discussion. It seemed like because we're all singing from slightly different hymn sheets.
Gloria.
Fair. Any other feedback?
Fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go. Huh?
No, I was going to say, like, I was trying to find a way to put it. Like, it's a kind of combination of horror movie-esque elements, but done in a light-hearted way. Like, with the way that he's popping out of vents, killing people, like the locators just flipping off in different sections. Like, they're taken out. But there's still that, like, jovial, like, ho, we're going to get them, lads. Yes, hunt the Primarch.
It's Scooby-Doo isolation.
Yeah.
It also felt like it was a good amount of time to be hunting the Primarch for. I feel like I would have got a little tired if we'd had to do next session as well.
Wait till he escapes again.
Yeah,
You damn meddling
like
kids.
there's no containment plan. It's just knock him out, keep him knocked out.
Well, that works
At
just
least
as well.
buys you time to think, to be fair.
Exactly.
And you kind of know how he operates better this time around if he escapes. And
No,
Primarch or no, he's missing a lot of skin, and his arm's broken, which will make it harder for him to escape immediately without sufficient time skips. So I'm not saying escape is impossible, but like he's not in. Haha! You made the mistake of not gassing me correctly for 2 seconds. I'm going to break free and run away. I mean, he might still break free and run away, but it's not going to be quite as dramatic the second time.
So let's be fair here. We can keep him tranked because he's in a medical facility for as long as we kind of need him to.
Probably indefinitely, yeah.
I have another reminder, Ewan, because I just thought of it. Turn the Primarch's hand skin, cut it up, put in loads of little vials, and those are given to the elite members of Havoc. We call them the Primarch's left hand.
I wonder how the Primarch's going to feel when he gains the ability to think, basically. Think, read, write, to make decisions, and pass judgment on you.
I mean,
that could be said for any one of the acts.
Is he going to be more annoyed at the whole skin thing, or is he going to be more annoyed at me beating the shit out of him with a thunder hammer?
say what you like about the numbers of Havoc. They really probably do like Mackie. I've been thinking about this a lot over the last 10 seconds, and that's pretty uniquely calculated to appeal to skin-thirsty space marines with daddy issues.
I'm gonna have to take the fucking Primarch through so many therapy sessions, guys.
If it all goes wrong, you just eat his brain, I suppose.
So, any other feedback?
Brains are good.
I really liked, personally, seeing the... Nature versus nurture is the wrong thing, so it wasn't nature versus nurture at all, but the, violence lobby versus non-violence lobby, both quietly fighting each other for control of how do we neutralize the Primarch.
Well, we all saw that violence won out in the end. Project Homeschool didn't work as well as anyone else wanted it to.
It doesn't necessarily mean it was the better idea.
Project Harsh Discipline worked perfectly, I think you'll find.
We'll see how it turns out.
Yes. Traumatic damage is never a bad thing.
What I think is going to be really interesting is what you said earlier. We have a Primarch who very may be afraid of Coayah. Even if they don't remember it, it could be on a subconscious level. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. It gives Coayah a weird amount of leverage.
It may also mean that I just automatically get turned into Legion Commander.
I mean, here we were trying to give examples to you earlier, young Nicholas, of the Primarchs can in fact feel fear. This is an example. Traumatic experiences can engender in them these mortal emotions. But yes, so
a traumatic experience.
It was so Coayah was kind of riding off of the wave of destruction that Havoc had sponsored, and then before that Coyah's own Corden had sponsored. So he very much personified the pain that the Primarch was going through. The times when the Primarch took the most damage, Coayah was always there.
Yeah.
And when he recognized someone specifically attacking him, it was Coayah. Over and over and over again. And when he was running away and couldn't escape, who was the one hounding him through the streets? It was Coayah. So there's that. Cool. Questions?
I am the Primarch's dark origin story.
Anything anyone was narratively unsure of in that session? Is everyone following the plot?
I say, again, this is purely out of character stuff, but, how close to various, status damages and deaths and stuff like that did the Primarch actually get to?
The Primarch, yeah. So I've been kind of loosely tracking him. Yeah, I was Coayah came so close to death. So when I described that as going near his neck, I had that planned out in my head already. If Benji hadn't got the fucking 3 DOS on the dodge, he was going to get knifed in the neck. That was going to go straight through the Ceramite immediately, artificer armor or no. He would.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to insta kill him.
AP2 knives.
Wasn't going to insta kill him. But it was going to be the Termies are going to need to give him immediate medical attention as best they can. He's got a knife in his throat and probably got, rabbit punched into the wall thereafter. So Coayah came super, super, super close to not quite an insta-kill, but an insta-maim. The Primarch I've been kind of, loosely tracking for him. Let's see, when was he closest? So the graviton stuff's been kind of fucking him up, but more casually sapping him. It's required him to get out of situations very fast, and also been putting him under this constant low pressure runaway, but with spikes of, and now you will suffer immense damage and pain and not understand why. And he's been reacting pretty well to it, but that's because he's acting on instinct. He's confused and hurt and scared. The times that he's been closest to taking damage or major status effects have been the times, at least this session, the times that he did. When Coayah hit him repeatedly with the Legion symbol of authority, which he's definitely not going to want to wield now. Or when he got out onto the street and got hit with an industrial strength fire hose filled with liquid trank. Straight into his raw nerve endings and blood vessels.
Just that's the part that, again, I appreciate there's a certain level of GM, not doing literal mechanical, damage so much as figurative sort of stuff. But yeah, it's is he just going to go into shock when he wakes up and start thrashing around wildly?
Quite possibly. he should have been going into shock at the end there. He's definitely ODing on that stuff. It was affecting him earlier when he was breathing it in, and now he's had like a hyper-concentrated version blasted straight into so many exposed blood vessels. Like, he's got the blood thing, the Space Marine blood thing going on, right? So a good chunk of his body is essentially one giant blood clot right now, which was ripped open by high-pressure drug and then bathed in it twice.
What I'm hearing here is that it was a good shout to ask for the liquid version of the drug.
I wasn't seeing a situation where you'd super well be able to use it, but I was kind of expecting to get him down into the retro thrusters this session. The grav-cannon situation and him getting like forced to go through the ratings quarters was kind of what he was trying to avoid. He was trying to stick to the ducts. That forced him into the open and was not the plan. I've also been trying to like roleplay him as an animalistic mind rather than roleplay him as GM with view of the side of the ship, for the record. So I'm not trying to be unfair with it.
Yeah, I mean, makes a lot of sense. And I think it shows.
Oh, that's been okay. Any other narrative questions?
Wait, is it pretty mean or pretty good?
No, I just said I hope that it shows. Yeah, any other narrative questions?
Are we doing another session next week on the same campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be we'll probably have a session, maybe two, of essentially conciliation. So with a bit of time skip after you get him under sedation. One, seeing how the transport's getting back to the Medicaid ballista goes, probably. And then two, the grand, what do you do with him?
I just want you to him and be his therapist.
It's going to be fun, yeah.
We're just going to under the sea him in the pectoral cargo tree fin after we seal off all the vents.
I still don't understand the purpose of that, though. Wouldn't that just put him in a
it was kind of at one point, might be a good way to lure him there, and also we get some of the meat he presumably has eaten his entire life, or the protein. So, it was going to be a lure point, and now I think it would be a good place for some R&R for him.
Yeah,
you need to Leviathans, not Coayah with a thunder hammer.
Yeah, the Coayah isn't allowed in the pectoral cargo tree fin anymore.
No. Let's again. I'm insisting that we keep him sedated in the medical wing until we can figure out what the fuck we do with him.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And so I guess also worth pointing out then on the subject of are we doing another session, there is a not insignificant chance of some kind of attempted prison break for the Primarch from the, from Project Homeschool versus Project Stern Discipline.
We might teach him.
I wouldn't interfere anymore at this point. I was just trying an alternative to violent capture, but now violent capture's happened. It's happened, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Too late.
Yeah, what is done is done.
I will visit him and sneak him ration bars if possible.
So we'll see how it goes next week then, basically.
I have a proposition for Coayah, an alternate to him putting kill switches on all my limbs.
I forgot about that.
I'm gonna visit him and just use Inspire. Just so he doesn't feel fear. So he just feels safer.
Wait, you're gonna you're gonna do that to another psyker?
So
it's just to remove fear. That's what it is. It's allies.
He's not necessarily a psyker, to be fair. Just a psi-active entity in some regard.
Yeah. I'm just soothing him. I'm not trying to invade his mind or anything like that.
Think of it.
No, I know you're not. But I fear he may take it that way.
It's like a comfort blanket, almost. Just
Or is it a smothering blanket?
Primarch is staying in a medically induced coma until I can send to Malkador for a nanny that can deal with his shit.
They already told us to teach him.
Yeah, I think the Emperor...
Yeah, the Emperor told us to teach him. Malkador didn't say anything.
You're going to try and sneak past Papa E to Malkador? Malkador, Big E told us to teach this guy, and he's torn up our ship, and our lesson plans have weird drawings in them. Can you send someone down?
Don't you hate Malkador as well? He ordered your legion on that death march, and then had you pulled back.
Look, I'm running out of options here.
No,
You've got a perfectly fine option. Your chief psychiatrist has spent 2 to 3 hours preparing what he calls a comprehensive curriculum.
And even besides that, there are probably other ways we can teach him. If we can just get him to learn High Gothic.
Can we engram download while he's unconscious?
Oh, do we have engramming?
It is
convenient as all hell.
It's not as good.
However,
Yeah,
the thing is, even if
sorry.
even if we don't like Malcador, we're going to have to send for him and to Mars for equipment for the Primarch, because it's a Primarch. We don't really have the capacity to manufacture stuff that...
Yeah, but we can wait till his skin's grown back and we've taught him a few.
Yes, but we're going to have to get stuff for him anyway, so we might as well send for supplies to teach him.
You can send for supplies to teach him. I'm definitely going to say that I feel like the spirit and soul of this is you're supposed to bring your feral Primarch around. You're getting the same resources the World Eaters will eventually get. Which is to say, I don't know, do something, question mark. And then
one day.
someone...
Actually, the funny thing is, do you know what? It would actually make sense if Angron still had the nails, because the whole point of Emperor's big speech to the Warhounds is to calm him down without hurting him or killing him, which just makes sense that he would hear about what we did to ours.
Yeah, in context,
I'm going to have to specify that you can't brutalize him into submission, then putting him in a medical coma until he can figure out what to do.
That's how I deal with so many of my problems. I think it's a valid way of dealing with issues.
I'm not saying you can't have instructors, but we're definitely going to do the bulk of the teaching should be handled somehow Legion side. If not, you have to do every lesson with him, though if Nazeem wants to, he can. Unless, he gets barred from it. But I would also definitely want an in-character reason to bar your chief psychiatrist, especially after you all agreed he should be the one to go in to speak first last time.
That's different.
I have a very good track record with everyone. I've calmed down the murder. I've brought them back from the brink. Mentally, that is.
Unfortunately, that's not wrong either.
It's not true, though.
I was just going to say, as a compromise, at the very least, it probably wouldn't be odd of us to want to observe the teachings. So you can probably watch and figure out quick enough if something's weird.
So, let's do some XP, shall we? Plot progression. Does anyone feel like you may need some good plot progression this session?
Primarch secured.
Primarch secured. All caps in that one. Anything else?
Started teaching the ratings proper High Gothic.
That's not plot progression.
It is for them in their lives. That's a big point.
That's not plot progression for you. Sorry, Ollie.
Question: Is Coayah beating up a Primarch like a plot event, or is that more like?
We can't tell anyone about it. Is the thing.
Yeah, I feel like that's more character development.
It's only because it's a monumental event, so I almost feel like it's progressing the plot in a way we just don't know yet.
Oh, I see what you're... So it's like So it's progressing the plot of your Legion as a whole. No, that's actually really valid. Yeah. Coayah becomes...
It's going to be a named... It might not be a named event that everyone knows, but it'll be something that we know. And
yeah, because it happened in quite public environments, right? So it's going to be suppressed all to hell. But there's going to be rumours of that. There's going to be rumours of this whole thing for quite a while, and there's definitely going to be rumours of the finale. And that for whatever reason, Coatlmox materialised across half the ship towards the end. Maybe he's a psyker. There's going to be a lot of rumours flying around about this for years, if not decades to come.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, even then, not even looking at that, it affects our Primarch's plot just in how he's going to be interacting with Benji from now on.
Cause that's what I was going to bring up.
Any other plot progression?
Because somewhat building on that last point that Ollie made, is we're definitely teaching the Primarch, but admittedly we're giving him bad lessons currently. The first one he's got down, that proved itself in this session, is he's learned to eat junk food. And he's learned to fear the Legion commander, which in terms of psychological trauma, that's not what you want in a big bad killing machine.
You figured out pull trigger, make magic stick go boom too.
That as well. So that's a good point, at least.
And he improved his advanced close quarters knife fighting also. That's it's been fun.
And he became a headhunter. Like, his headhunting ability exponentially.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I think I won this time. I don't think I'm going to win in, say, 20 years' time.
That's all right. You
lava
will.
and everything else.
You will, because you go up to him and you say boo and he flinches. You won.
Well, and also, I think we are forgetting. Yes, Coayah was the face of the fair. It took 2 or 3 squads of Havoc squads, Coayah and Mackie to take him down, and Trank, a fuck ton of specially designed Trank directly injected into his bloodstream to take him down. You cannot 1v1 him. That didn't happen.
But, that brings me on to a character XP thing. But
you know what? Well, we're doing character development now. So, any points of character development for that session?
So,
yes, Chromatic Fear.
The
Primarch is an NPC, I'm afraid.
So, I think from Mackie, from this one, he's starting to think he might be a bit of a better tactical mind than Coayah, in terms of ordering the what's his face, the Trank in its other form, and having Havoc Squad use and the use of the graviton guns, which he suggested from the beginning. Which
it is definitely true that Coayah's better victories always seem to come when he's 1v1ing something, whereas your better victory, which he always seems to do quite flashily as well, whereas your victories tend to come from like ordering squads and people about.
It's almost like I put you in charge of the tactics.
Mackie's getting into his mind that he's maybe got a better tactical sense than Coayah, and it's gonna flavour his relationship with Coayah. I still likes him. Don't get me wrong.
I'll say for Coatlmox, I think I'm also probably developing some level of fear for Coayah myself, if not at his raw power, at his willingness to beat a Primarch after death instead of try peaceful methods.
I think I would usually have called for maybe something like a fear test, even for Coayah going in after the Primarch. But the thing is, Coayah has spent a number of decades of his life at this point beating the shit out of other Space Marines because they weren't acting according to his reasonably high standards. And this was just the ultimate extension of that coming home to roost. He's been beating up you fucks and the murder for so long that it was not that big of a step for him to move on to clubbing his Primarch in open combat. Any other character development?
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
God damn it.
The ratings learn High Gothic.
The ratings, 1, do not learn High Gothic, and 2, do not get character development. They are NPCs.
But it's character development, and yes, they did. They got free lessons.
I will demote you to rating standard.
Carl continues his experimentation.
I suppose I was going to say that Kuzco is slowly taking on a more laissez-faire approach to life in private.
Kuzco finding a way to abuse drugs as a Marine is quite entertaining, honestly. Because generally it takes a pretty high dosage to do so, right? But you already had this anti-Primarch stuff on hand. So the leap from, I have manufactured this incredibly potent drug, to, I'm going to abuse this incredibly potent drug, was less than 6 hours.
What's the name of the spook, isn't it? I just feel like this is how spook is invented by...
The spook makes you a psyker. Oh, well, some sort of. Spook makes you a mini psyker for a little bit. This is not spook.
I know. And I do think that somehow Carl is going to invent spook. It just seems like it's going to be in keeping.
Carl, could you make drugs to help amp up my psychic powers?
Sure, just give me some of your spinal fluid real quick.
Okay.
I feel like with this drug taking and the amount of pride that might come in beating the Primarch, we could start to lean a bit Slaneshi here.
Throughout all of this, though, I still have a high. I want us to end up being loyal Marines or loyalists.
So do I.
I mean, yeah.
It's not like the murder isn't excessive in murder.
I bet that Nick is going to be the one that does something that makes us a heretical traitor legion.
I'm sorry, that's not a bet, that's a certainty.
I will try and fight to remain loyal best I can.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like we're not most legions are drawn slowly into damnation. It kind of feels like our legion is that that gif of the guys dancing along with the coffin on their shoulders.
Oh dear. Oh, I can't refute.
Excellence of roleplay. Does anyone feel like anyone else roleplayed particularly well this session?
Benji. The sheer unbridled anger and the release of daddy issues.
This is one of those things. I know we're meant to give specific examples, but I think everyone stuck to their character very well. Like Chris maintained his hidden in vent, sort of trying to stay out of capture. Benji, as was mentioned, stayed in his angry hunter mode without any sort of deviation from what the character is doing. Friggin' Ollie with his effectively trying to find a good way to put it, but boxing in quite tactically and sticking with his plan of sending various Terminator squads, which in the end corralled him quite well, to be fair.
Oh yeah, did most of the legwork. Coayah would not have been nearly as effective if he hadn't had Terminators there able to block off routes. Sorry, I interrupted. Yeah, carry on.
Oh no, it's you're just reinforcing my point ultimately. But yeah, Nick sticking with his I want to say trying to stay in the sidelines. Please don't discover my psyker potentially treasonous bullshit.
Don't look at the brains cupboard. I mean the normal cupboard.
Yeah. Right.
Fair. Okay.
Because Carl can't mention himself there. Carl's dedication to just being the Medicae, the apothecary who's I will do what you ask. I will get a little high. I feel like this is the best way to deal with the situation. And then kind of just having that left hand, right hand thing as well was pretty sweet.
I really like left hand, right hand. If they so if you don't even if they don't even outrank each other, except on the issues they're in charge of. So left hand outranks on console issues, but is outranked on apothecary issues by right hand. It's very Council of 13. Kuzco. That's not how you spell that name.
Oh yeah, for my reminder regarding the hand skin thing, I'm actually thinking more maybe investigate how we can turn it into relic weaponry, but not know it's relic weaponry, just know it'd be interesting weaponry. But also maybe symbology. It can be both, right?
Yeah. I will just let you note down the thing. Cool. I will put or become relic weapon.
Thank you.
Make the most terrifying mask in the world.
The most terrifying party balloon.
Guess you could get a really creepy servo hand out of it. And then the arm is passed between different... Whoever's the captain gets their arm replaced, and on the end of that arm is the literal hand of the Primarch.
You have the rod of office, which is the
It's the Primarch's rod.
Staff, and then you have the arm of you have the hand of office or the arm of office.
So I make that out to be 190 experience points for session number 29. That's 30 points of plot progression, Primarch secured, Coayah becoming the Primarch's only fear, and definitely teaching the Primarch. 30 points of character development, that's Mackie thinks he might be a better tactical leader than Coayah, Coatlmox slowly developing a fear of Coayah, Kuzco immediately beginning to abuse liquid trank. 30 points, essence of roleplay, that's Coayah has had enough. Coatlmox stays in events, Mackie's sticking to small unit tactics, Nazeem continues to advance the plot of Team Psyker, which is mostly him, and Kuzco's immediate drug abuse. Plus, your usual standard 100.
All I'm saying is that when it gets to the burning of Prospero, Coayah will be front and centre, thunder hammer in one hand, null rod in the other, screaming, "Come at me, Magnus, you big nerd!"
I'll have his hand blown up like a balloon attached to my sword. or wrapped around my graviton cannon, shouting,
I don't imagine there will be any Space Marine on Space Marine combat for some time yet. And that brings us on speedily to everyone's favourite part of the session. It's the highlights. Benji, do you have any highlights for that session?
Kuzco gets high on his own supply.
Fair. Anything else?
But if we added more graviton cannons...
Right, there's no problem that can't be fixed with the proper application of graviton cannons.
Young Nicholas somehow made it through Legion selection process.
Hey.
That one comes up like every 3 sessions.
And yet, it's also confirmed continuously that I have pretty good ideas.
He's one of the older members of the Legion at this point, even. He's served in the Unification Wars. There will come a time where he and Kuzco are probably the oldest members of the Legion left.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
One of the oldest serving psykers. Hey guys.
Well, you might actually be the oldest serving psyker. Ahriman is the only other Unification Wars era psyker I can think of. There's definitely others at this point, but by the end of the Great Crusade...
And Thousand Suns keep blowing up, don't they?
There's not that many. Yeah, well, I mean, like, for contrast, Eacton Cruz from the Lunar Wolves, he's only 200 years old by the end of the Great Crusade, a little over, and people make fun of him for being old, and it's kind of noteworthy that he served in the Unification Wars. There's not that many. The casualty rates, as you've seen, are pretty insane at this time period. People, like, Space Marines die a lot.
I've also been collecting psychic knowledge for the entire time as well.
Yeah. What is the current year? Let me double check. The year is, we are on year 42 of the Crusade. We're almost a quarter of the way through.
When do psykers get ratified and the laws that say you can't talk to demons get brought in?
You're not supposed to talk to demons at all. Yep, they definitely already have those laws. Psykers as an open thing have been in the Legions. I think we said that started happening during the last time skip, so in like the last 7 years or so.
Okay.
Nazeem has chosen not to reveal himself because he's kind of waiting for an ideal time, if I recall his justification correctly.
Yeah.
It'll be when you explode and you roll a doubles.
Do we know demons are a thing?
We know that they are strange interdimensional Xenos who are not to be trusted under any circumstances, and much like all horrors of the Old Night, to be terminated with extreme prejudice.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a council that's convened, right? And they're like, cool, okay,
that's
I guess
not for.
No,
so
you're thinking of Nicaea. Nicaea is not for like 150 years.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was referring to when they said
Nicaea heavily restricts Imperial usage of psykers, basically. Nicaea says, these are the licensed roles for psykers and mutants, and anything outside this is not okay.
Okay.
And part of the reason that Nicaea is called is because a lot of Space Marines have unofficial psyker corps, or well, official psyker corps even. And one of the things that Nicaea does is command them to say, no, you have to stop using psychic powers and psykers need to go back to the ranks. So, any other highlights, Benji? Is that a no?
I'm pretty sure that wasn't his spine.
Oh, God.
The implication it was someone underneath him whose spine broke.
You did hear a small whimper.
The whimper was him, as I said at the time.
Yeah, it's just I presume the spine snapping, the sound of a spine snapping was someone else's spine when I landed on top of him.
Happens to the best of us.
Any other highlights, Benji?
I think that was everything.
Cool. Creed, do you have any highlights for that session?
Yes. Never skip leg years.
Anything else?
All my brains are useless.
Anything else?
Oh, poor shit.
Yeah, the reactor explosion, that was a fun one. You've still got plenty. It wasn't even a main drive, but it was still a drive. Anything else?
Learning High Gothic in 3 easy steps, animated.
If we ever do like little vignettes, and we do a ratings vignettes, that's going to come up a lot. Anything else?
Coayah bled, broke, and punched the Primarch. It was initially bled, and I was updating it as the scenes went. Well, he's getting a lot of these firsts in his belt. He bled him, he broke his arm, he literally punched the guy.
Yeah.
First man to punch a Primarch and survive.
Anything else?
Lastly, evil laugh lesson plans.
Dear young Nicholas to lead in. Any highlights for that session?
Have you seen some of the ratings?
Anything else?
I'm sure I had others, and now they're all gone. I'm sure this pentagram is meant to be in this plan. In this lesson plan.
It's an 8-pointed star in this setting, even. God damn it. Anything else?
I'm sure there is, but I can't remember it. So, call it there for now.
Cool. Carl, do you have any highlights for that session?
Yes. Apothecarium Switzerland. Well, I've got no other better way to put it.
The Medicaid blister is neutral ground? It's not snappy, I guess.
You know what I meant at least. So.
Yeah.
Graviton mechanics. Barreling through the secret police.
Looks like I misspelled Switzerland.
We all do sometimes.
Sorry, was that barreling through the secret police? Oh, I forgot about that.
The first one I would suggest maybe only the drug dealer's home is the neutral ground. That's what you are. That's what you are. You are.
Hey, I'm not dealing yet. I'm just using.
He's not selling it to anyone. Don't.
Yet.
I mean, you want to be careful about putting the idea.
You distributed it to the entire ship under presumably the entire idea that the first crop.
Yeah, but that was under our
is
orders,
free.
to be fair.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was getting pumped specifically.
I
towards
know.
the section. Yeah.
Right, did you get graviton mechanics?
Yes.
Left hand, right hand.
That's just such a nice way, thing to have, as part of your apothecary group. I just like that.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like, everyone else has got people. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna have people now.
It's not true. Young Nicholas doesn't have people.
Yeah, but there's no one else to be young Nicholas's people.
To be fair,
I
he's
have
on
my
the
brain.
he's on the
Brain?
lookout.
Just because my people aren't alive.
You
Also,
have the brain.
He has the coolest place to hang out, and is weirdly involved with everyone else's storylines. So I guess he's got his own shit going on.
I'm entwined with everything.
I'm kind of. I guess this is a bit waxing lyrical, but I'm kind of a fan of this, the organic growth of the organizations within the Legion, rather than deciding, we'll split them off like this, that, and the other, because it means that things arise from how we roleplay in these situations, rather than strict organizational stuff. So I guess if it sometimes feels like I'm a bit resistant to the reorgs, that's partially why.
It has given me an idea to now have have a squad called a Primarch squad, which is just 20 fuckers.
I mean, there is nothing. You are not bound by the Principia Bellicosa that tells you, you should probably have 5-man Termi squads. If you want it to be standard policy that your Legion fields Terminators in squads of 20.
They're called Primarch squads.
There ain't no Gilliman here telling you, that's not tactically sound. No one's stopping you.
And when he does come along, we can say, we've been doing this for years. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Your traditions are your own, and they only have to make as much tactical sense as you want them to. Any other highlights, Carl?
I do have a couple more, and then low-key acquisitions fan, air quoted.
You know what that reminded me of? Was our van in first Dark Heresy campaign that we could literally disassemble.
Is it the Robin Vanliant?
The Robin Vanliant.
Oh, Vanliant, yeah.
Funnily enough, this is actually the ancient Terran mark, the Robin Vanliant, but with tinted windows. And the Robin Vanliant, it has 3 wheels.
Yes!
That is so ridiculously versatile that it can be sawed in half and still successfully welded up again relatively easily. Yes, the Medicaid Blister's fleet of all black Robin Vanliants are well feared.
Someone has learned to fear the all black Robin Vanliants.
So, sorry?
We chucked that in the highlights somewhere.
The fleet of all black Robin Vanliants. Any other highlights, Carl?
I'm not sure if I missed it, but Primarch visibly fears Coayah.
Did we? No, I don't think we did get that down. Yeah.
Cool. That's it for me. Thank you.
Cool. And who have I missed? Ollie, I think. Ollie, any highlights for that session?
Yeah, a few. Shouldn't bring a knife to a hammer fight.
Oh, he was totally going to wipe Coayah out if Benji hadn't got that dodge off. I was fully prepared for it. I was less prepared for Benji to survive, honestly. If the Primarch seemed nonplussed, he was.
Yeah, I got some good rolls there. Like, the worst I got was 2 degrees of failure on a running after him roll. Like, I should not have survived that.
You jammy bastard. Shouldn't bring a knife to a fight. Anything else, Ollie?
Coayah table slams the Primarch through every ratings quarter.
He did almost have him come out into the main conveyor way beneath the ratings quarters. I was this close to should he have? No, they've been trying to keep him in the ratings quarters. Let's not give him that easy out. But if you'd smashed him through another floor or two, he was totally going to just hit that bottom conveyor way beneath the ratings quarters block and the plasma drives.
Yeah. My squad's... Oh, well, that would have been funny. Anyway, unapproved lesson plans. And I haven't written this one out, but I was trying to alliterate something like... something along the lines of Primarch... I mean, it's already been discussed with the whole... Primarch got beat down. But it was like watching a slow-motion... WWF match across a small city. I don't really know how to put that into smaller words. City-wide WWF? No. I know, it's
overly dramatic. I mean, I think to my mind that was how I want a Primarch fight sequence to go down. They pull off a load of ridiculous bullshit, but with enough determination and a good meaty hammer.
I mean, if you wanted to shorten it, you could shorten it to small town wrestling.
If you're a good lazy hammer.
Fucking goddamn it.
And one for myself, because I liked it, which was anything can be fixed with enough application of graviton cannons.
Okay, but I'm putting fixed in inverted quotation marks.
Yeah, I would expect nothing less.
Cool. And then, unless anyone has anything else, for my part, I would like to note everyone feels pity for the Primarch but Coayah.
I've actually got one more. I remembered. Omnipresent Coatlmox.
You mean Coayah or Coatlmox?
Coatlmox. Because he had the reports getting filed in by his cultists with the Invigilators.
Oh yes, sorry,
that he was all over the ship. Which is when the rumours start to come out over this, the Invigilators are quite a large organisation. They've been somewhat infiltrated by cultists and Coatlmox himself. So it's going to come out that, Coatlmox was reported across half the ship, that one of the plasma drives blew up, this giant twist blasted through the ratings quarters. It took 20, 40 Terminators to take this thing down. Was it a Xenos? Was it... Who knows?
There are a rumour or something that... Is Coatlmox a psyker?
Well, exactly, yeah.
I'm like, yes, Psyker's over there! Psyker's over there!
Yes, Coatlmox. Dirty, dirty Psyker.
With my anti-psyker cowl and axe.
That sounds like exactly what a psyker would say to me.
You need them to suppress your psychic powers.
Plus, everyone's therapist keeps saying, well, you should be suspicious. And
every time I go there, I end up a weird
I've got subliminal messaging. I've got subliminal messaging in my therapy music. It's just
sorry, let's back up a second. Just before we finish the session, what are your psychic powers, Jan Nicholas? What have you bought?
They're mainly physical.
Okay, because I'm not opposed to you having mind control powers. That's fine. Buy some mind control powers.
No, I have in terms of mindset, I have reading, so I can tell emotions and so forth.
That's fair.
And then I also have inspire, so I can remove people's fear and so forth, and make them feel a lot more comfortable. And everything else is physical based, but reading lets me do a fair bit, actually. To be fair, so it's a very good. And then
For a
obviously
psychiatrist, it's pretty good.
For inspire, so I can calm people down in a session, and then I can read their emotions.
You haven't posted highlights yet. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Could I just psyker-itrist?
God damn it!
Psyker-itrist, yes.
No, lawyer. Like, what's the fucking Lionel Hutz scene?
I can't actually recall.
Which one?
It's the one where they come in with the the advertisement from Lionel Hutz.
Oh yes.
And
Sorry, they screwed this all up. They shouldn't. So you don't want to work on a contingency basis? No, money down.
You know what I like more? I like more like there's something just covering up the sign of psychiatrist, so you only see psyker. So it's just like there's a chair or a plant or something.
I think, in all fairness, you have an actual. Okay, I guess you've been holding sessions. You presumably have an office somewhere, I guess. And your office will have an actual job title plaque outside it. It doesn't literally say psyker and then you've written itrist on the end with pen.
No.
Cool, thank you all for a lovely session number 29. Does anyone have any final words for the recording?
Daddy issues?